Hail, hail, welcome to the HomeBhoys Live podcast. It is Friday the 24th of July. I'm, of course, Joe McKenna. We are back after a hiatus because the stress and the impact of the end of last season was difficult to process. Scott, you put your mic on mute because I can hear myself coming back in an echo. Good man, Scott. Appreciate that. So, we're back. We're here to talk about the season review. Now, I know the new season starts in a couple of weeks, and we have been kind of talking about this on and off in the last few podcasts. And Scott has put a lot of effort, blood, sweat, tears, all kinds of bodily liquids and fluids into this process to make it what it is. And tonight, we're joined by our comrade Jason Higgins, who's going to be here to dissect it with us, go over with us. Hey, Jason.
How you doing? Hail, hail.
All good. Hail, hail, bro. And Scott's there. Scott, meet yourself there. Say hello to the folks.
Hello.
And this is where we go into the detail about Scott's experience in the last few days.
The annoying thing about this, right? Well, it's not annoying. I've been busy this summer just with Wayne's football and my holiday and Celtic, the World Cup. Celtic just been really, really annoying. And the amount of kind of things that happen that you wanted to put detail in. So I started this season review a good while ago, and I kind of touched on it every now and then, and it was huge. It was absolutely huge to the point where we're going to do it over three podcasts at one point. But we kind of, so what I said was I would split it up. I would clip it down and get rid of a few things so we could do it on one podcast. Now, at the start of this week, I was in a good position to get it done, and I'd say to you, well, we'll aim for Friday, we'll get it done. And then I went to kind of edit it this morning, and I couldn't find it. And to this day, I don't know what I've done with it. So all this work I've done, all this stuff is all somewhere, and I don't know where it is. So today I've kind of had to sit down and try and get it, and I've missed loads of important stuff, which we'll talk about once we come, but also throw in the fact that we're doing it the new. I don't know if you guys ever watched Celtic Exchange at any point.
Yes, I do.
Now you do see Celtic Exchange, very, very clean, nice, smooth Celtic podcast. Last night they had their premiere at the end of the storm, and I think it's a 4 or 5 part about the season. And it's going to be on YouTube. The first part's on YouTube already. I would recommend people go and watch it. It's outstanding. But it's a season review, innit? Know what I mean? So here comes your fucking biscuit arse one. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't have really good idea for it.
Yeah, well, that's it. Exactly. All these guys, Johnny come lately, stealing their ideas, mate. But we'll get through it. As I say, there's big things. I wanted to really delve into the collective stuff, but see, to be honest, that's the bits that I'm missing. I'm missing kind of Rodgers gone. I'm missing the collective stuff. So we'll kind of have to wing the bits out, and people hear me and a wee bit more than I usually do. But that is what it bloody well is, isn't it? That's HomeBhoys. That's how we roll.
It's the perfect version.
Exactly. So what's happening? Are we getting right into it, or are we waffling?
Well, I don't think we've watched the waffle about, have we?
Fuck no.
Waffling would just be moaning. By waffling, I mean moan.
Aye, it's dire. So it is. By all accounts, there's a few at the door ready to come in, but whether we can get them out of the line or not, I don't know. Like Liam said in the chat, they're probably waiting the dies and the Ada money coming in before they lay any out, which is madness because there's been plenty sitting in the bank. Probably no anywhere near as much as they had a couple of years ago, but still. But it's just fucking so infuriating that the season's round the corner, Champions League's round the corner, we've got one signing out the door, and the likelihood is we're going to lose 3, maybe 4 top players. We've already lost one. It's fucking just madness. But that's Celtic for you, and it's always been the same.
Aye, I listened to your last podcast, and it was really good. It was really good. I was glad I listened to it because at that point I was kind of trying my best not to listen to anything about Celtic. and you boys stuck one out, and I thought it was really good. Marty's funny, isn't he? Because he says he started after the pod guy saying what we're going to talk about, and he's done a pod for 2.5 hours. But don't get me wrong, you were talking about fucking Tartan Army for fucking 2
Aye, I know.
But no,
Rambling.
I couldn't disagree with anything you said, you know what I mean? And it's what the overriding feeling is. And like I say, I've only watched a bit of the Celtic Exchange, only half of that thing today. And the whole, Bernard Ponsonby does really, really well on it by talking about how futile it is when it comes to Dermot Desmond in terms of, and the club, should I say, in terms of, we all guess, but nobody's confirming anything, positively or negatively. Nothing. We're getting. I mean, everything. We keep hearing rumours, but it's only that rumours. There's nothing.
Well, I heard one thing that I posted, and Kevin Gallagher just put it on the chat there. Has anybody heard anything about AJ to Everton? So I can confirm Everton are 100% going to be making a bid for him. And I can also confirm that Everton never bid for Dyson Maeda because Davy Moyes doesn't think he's good enough. That tells you all you need to know about that fucking plank of wood. But aye, so they need a right back. They don't have a right back, and AJ's who they've earmarked. So there's every likelihood he's off. But
I'm no surprised with that one, and honestly, because you see, be honest again, in the exact same way as Dyson, he's done his doggies, hasn't he? I think all these guys. Oh, Joe's quite already. He's in depression.
We're still alive anyway, so carry on.
There it is. You would think, I mean, like, do you remember? Juranovic went, and we had AJ in the door. This boy Arajo loves Celtic. He fits your kind of time. He fits your everything for us. I think what you outlay on him, you'd probably make if you sold AJ. Go and get that boy in the new. Just if you think it's going to happen, go and get him the new. But as you say, the madness of no, we need to have more money in the bank before we fling any money out is. But again, I've never ran a football club, so maybe that's the best way to do it.
And if Johnson goes, you're probably looking at a record transfer fee for us, I would think.
Think so?
I would think so. 25 million.
25, 30?
I would think so.
I think that's an interesting one. Right, in fact, we'll do that and we'll come back to this because this could just head out waffling, right? So I'll get started here. All right, yeah. He's all ready.
Let's go.
On mute.
Right. So, Brendan Rodgers, after finishing the previous season with a disappointing cup final penalty defeat to Aberdeen, went into his third pre-season of his 3-year contract. Despite no real clue what was in his future beyond the contract and that cup final defeat, the previous season had lifted everybody at the club and a high outlay had seen Celtic pick up the league and League Cup double, and we'd seemingly made big inroads in Europe, coming out of the inaugural league format of the Champions League and narrowly losing to Bayern Munich in the playoff rounds. Now, we'll address the ins and outs right now of that pre-season, but as we say, it doesn't really touch on the real tale of what happened. And again, like I was saying earlier, I'm going to have to wing that a wee bit, but I'm going to fly through all this, right? So this is just as per we've done these amounts. This is who left, this is who came in, right? So youngsters, Joey Dawson, Alistair Davison, Lewis Dobby, Aidan Cannon, Corey Thompson, contract ended and were released or left on free transfers. Scott Bain would also see out his contract and sign for Falkirk. Young hopeful Daniel Cummins left after his contract ran out, and Celtic got a compensation from West Ham. First team fullback Greg Taylor, nervous about his own first team future, left the club at the end of the season, ended his contract and signed with PAOK in Greece. Taylor played 216 games for Celtic, scored 9 goals over 6 seasons where he won 5 leagues, 3 Scottish Cups and 3 League Cups. Matthew Anderson, Liam Bonnetig, Lenny Agbear, Mitchell Frame all secured undisclosed fee moves away from the club, while Quan's time came and went, playing 1 friendly match for the club. He joined St Mirren and then Hibs on loan before getting himself a madden move to Nantes in Ligue 1, playing 12 games and 1 goal, and then he's since moved on to Germany. So Gustav Lagerbielke would also get himself a move after a loan spell. After 10 games, a red card and a goal against Feyenoord, he joined 20 on loan and then departed permanently for Braga in Portugal. We would see him again. Another success would leave the club permanently is Marco Tilio, again after 2 loan spells back in Australia and 2 Celtic appearances, would join Rapid Vienna, again for an undisclosed fee. Another couple of undisclosed fees but major departures is both ends of the transfer window. Nicholas Kuhn, who had a fantastic 7 months after arriving for Rapid Vienna in January 2024, had made the desire to leave quite visibly and joined Como early in the transfer window for around 15 million. And then at the end of the transfer window, we'll come back to the detail about that. Irish international Adam Eder left the club for a £6 million move to Swansea. During their periods at the club, Kuhn made 69 appearances and 24 goals, whilst Eder made 76 appearances with 29 goals. Both players won 2 leagues and they won a Scottish Cup and a League Cup each. Lewis Palmer and Mike Narowski, another 2 players from a tremendous transfer window of summer of 2023, both would make loan moves away. Narowski headed to his birthplace of Germany in Hanover 96 and Palmer to Poland for a title winning season with Lech Poznan after a previous loan at Olympiacos. Unlike the others, Palmer made 48 appearances in total for the club, scoring 10 goals and at one point looked like a player, whilst Narowski made 18 appearances, scoring 1 goal. Youngsters Jude Bonner, Adam Montgomery, Josh Clark, Kyle Uhr, Mitchell Robinson, Ben McPherson, Odin Taylor, Sean McArdle and Toby Owulayemi all had loans away from the club. And finally, Stephen Welsh would head away for what became one of 2 loan spells tomorrow for the season, and we'll come back to him as well. So, ends well. It starts well and gets fucking worse. Kieran Tierney, after 6 seasons in London and a wee brief spell in San Sebastian, returned to Celtic at the end of his Arsenal contract. We picked up Isaac English from Morton. We also replaced our backup with a backup as we resigned Ross Doohan on a free from Aberdeen. Swedish international midfielder Benjamin Nygren, in what in hindsight was an amazing deal, was signed from Danish side Nordsjælland for a fee of around £1.5 million. Young striker without a first-team game to his name, Callum Osman, was signed from Fulham. Intriguingly, we signed 2 Japanese players. Hiyato Inamura, a centre-back, was signed from Albirex Niigata, while striker Shin Yamada was signed from Kawasaki Frontale. After selling loads of defenders, Celtic signed up Jamal Simpson-Puzzi on loan from Man City. Late in the window, Celtic picked up long-term target Mitchell Ange Balikwisha from Royal Antwerp for around £5 million, and we followed that up with a £4.5 million signing of Sebastian Tenecki, a Tunisian winger from Hammarby. Marcelo Saracchi, a Uruguay left-back, was signed on loan from Boca Juniors, and then finally, and rather than dealing with Celtic, Sevilla released Kelechi Iheanacho, allowing Celtic to sign him after the window closed. Now, that's loads of the ins and outs, but none more than Iheanacho really shows up how the window went, as Brendan Rodgers seemed to have his nose out of place. In hindsight, has allowed a different perspective. Now, Rodgers throughout that pre-season, whilst contradicting himself and bloody well annoying all us, he was being quite critical in the press of the Celtic board. He was not happy with the incomings, as well we know. Yamada seemed to be forced on him. Inamura, he quite distanced himself from almost immediately, and you knew things weren't right. Nygren coming in when we'd already lost Kuhn and who was the other one? Kuhn and Ida. Well, we never lost Ida at that point. Ida we'll come to that. Because you've lost Kuhn, you've lost a load of goals, and then what we learned with hindsight is that Daizen Maeda had wanted to leave and Celtic were holding them back. Now, bearing in mind, between Ida, Kuhn and Maeda, That's 100 of their goals last season. It was quite a thing, and you could see why Arnie Engels was then pushed out of the team for Negrin, because Negrin was scoring. But anyway, the summer was an absolute fucking shambles, as well we know. Rodgers didn't look happy, which in turn made us unhappy. Then somebody within Celtic released to the Sun criticising Rodgers' conduct. Again, in hindsight, Celtic denied it, but in hindsight, we kind of know it was Celtic had done it. So after, as I say, I've done this in more detail, and once we do the Rodgers retrospective, Joe, I think we'll come back to this in detail and kind of rattle right into that. Right, but so now we're going to get into the fixture stuff. If you want to kind of come off and mute, and we can bounce it through that. So after a mixed pre-season round of fixtures, we beat Sporting 2-0 in the Algarve, we beat Newcastle 4-0, whilst we get beat off Estrella de Amadora 3-2 in Lisbon, and then we get battered 5-1 in Ajax in the Como tournament. I forgot all about that bloody tournament. I remember we get battered and anybody was calling us scumbags because we had Palestine stuff.
Yep.
So anyway, Celtic were drawn at home in the League Cup second round with Falkirk, and in the Champions League playoff we were drawn with Kazakhstan champions Kairat of Almaty. After the 5.5 seeds, the 9th lowest seed in the whole competition had already disposed of Olympia Ljubljana of Slovenia, Kups of Finland, and Slovan Bratislava of Slovakia. So the season kicked off on the 3rd of August, and we started the league the way we finished it. A late McCowan goal giving us a win over St Mirren. We followed this with a 2-0 away win to Aberdeen, with a Negrin goal and a Hattati strike. This was the first time we'd seen Negrin come on to do his kind of the crowd. Remember, he's get up fucking part to the crowd.
Aye.
That was his first time, but also a good goal scoring start for the boy. Well, we're back at Celtic Park, newly promoted Falkirk, but in the League Cup. 4-1 win, Dyson Maeda, Alistair Johnson, Dane Murray, and a Liam Henderson goal. Not him. Own goal, should I say, with the goals. Negrin grabbed another 2 in the 3-0 home win over Livingston. Johnny Kenny grabbing his first of the season also. We finished the month off with a 0-0 timid draw with Rangers at Ibrox. So Celtic finished the first month of the season joint top on 10 points with Hearts. 2 goals better off to keep them on top. Rangers at this point had 4 points on board and sat 8th place, which is quite relevant for later on and shows you how bad that 0-0 draw was.
You know what? That start sounds better than I recall.
Right, well, it's no finished. However, the Kairat game was the target and quickly the talking point of the month. On the 28th of August, Celtic drew 0-0 in a toothless display despite having 67% possession. We managed only 3 shots at home on target. But we beat them in the away game, sure, no bother, easy peasy. Well, no. A week later in Kazakhstan, both teams played out another worryingly dull 0-0 performance, and sure enough, after 120 minutes, Celtic lost 3-2 in penalties. Ida, McCowan and Maeda all missing theirs at penalty, and we departed the Champions League in the most embarrassing way. Now, as I say, Joe, I split that up just to kind of trick you there.
You built me up and then you dropped me down, didn't you?
Jeez, it's I don't know. I mean, you say it wasn't the worst, but that St Mirren game was garbage. And then
The Huns game was awful as well.
The Huns game was awful considering how shite they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause as I'm thinking, who made his debut that day? Barrett Wisher?
Yes.
It was fucking garbage.
Awful.
Did Ida play? No, Ida left. So we were talking about Ida there. So Ida was the thing that again I missed out there is that Brendan Rodgers has said Adam Ida would not leave the club until he had a new forward in. And the story I've heard is that Celtic took him at his word and said, well, we got Yamada, and that's why he was punted. And I failed to mention also that during the transfer window, Yang had actually went down to Swansea and Birmingham, 2 different clubs. I mean, and both times basically get told back up the road, we needed you. you throw in the whole Dies in Maeda thing. I mean, I was listening to a pod this week to kind of come off tangent a wee bit, and I wondered your opinion. And they were saying, do you think that Dies in Maeda gone for 10 million? Because he was in the press this week saying Celtic should lower what they want. Do you think that's a kind of in response to fucking them about last summer?
I've not really been seeing any of the press, so do you want to go and mute, Joe? I think because
Me?
I will. When I talk,
What's
because I can hear myself talk, so I can still hear myself talk. It doesn't matter, Joe. You come off mute now.
So
I'm just
be
hearing
mine
the
then,
total echo when I'm talking. But I've not seen anything in the newspaper. So did Maeda say that Celtic should be lowering their asking price?
That was released at the start of this week. I mean, obviously we'd put up that they were in talks, but this a couple of days beforehand, Maeda had come out. Well, I don't know, through his agent and requested that Celtic lowered what they were. So obviously Celtic's went ball deep into the same as usual. But I think it was Axon I was watching. It was Big John Paul, and he said that maybe he's saying, and then it was interesting enough that Paul John had replied to that and said he heard that Maeda's agents went through Celtic last summer about it, the way they were, because by all accounts that deal was all done and dusted. You know what I mean? And Celtic reneged on the whole fucking deal. So,
and you can imagine them with maybe in January or whatever saying to him, look, sit tight, we'll know they have to deal with the end of the season. You know, and then just going back and work. You can 100% believe that.
It makes sense. It makes sense considering how. The thing is with Dies, again, we'll come to it later. It just seems a bit shite going to Ipswich, doesn't it? But
terrible.
It's a bit of an underwhelming fucking move. Like, you were kind of going because where was he meant to go before? Was it Germany? Somewhere in Germany?
Germany, Wolfsburg, but they ended up getting relegated.
I know, but it's still a bit sexy than fucking Ipswich, isn't it? Like,
no, well, I don't know. I mean, like the thing is the English premise. But okay, I mean, who is the manager of Ipswich now? So I was going to say it's McKenna, but McKenna's fucking away, isn't he?
I don't even know who the manager is.
Go on, Joe.
Here we go. Ipswich.
I'm confident he'll go down there and do brilliant, and somebody else will sign him next year.
As I say, we'll come back to
Gary O'Neill.
Gary O'Neill, fuck so it was, the old Strasbourg guy. Right, and again, this is frustratingly enough, I had a good bit wrote out about what came next, but I will try and use my memory, but I won't have dates which I had before. So, in the week that followed that Almaty result and the Rangers result, obviously, every major Celtic supporters club came out with a vote of no confidence, and it was signed by almost every bus I knew who were not members of one of the clubs, the associations or stuff. And well, I'm a liar. There was the North of Ireland Celtic supporters clubs didn't back it, but generally you had the affiliation, the association, the Irish Association, the Disabled. You had we as the HomeBhoys. You had every podcast. You had every Celtic group online. All came together to give a vote of no confidence, and then a meeting happened at Gracie's. The North Club team had set it up, and it was a really, really good, productive meeting. There was a lot of nervousness about it, but the anger in the room was palpable, and I felt that night we actually had something, and there seemed to be, despite a lot of kind of naysayers, there was a lot of positivity that we could create a group and we make a difference. And that night, the Celtic Collective were born. Now, I ended up on the Collective through the HomeBhoys, through somebody we knew, and the kind of record. So I jumped on it, and it was kind of born, and it was small baby steps. But if you remember that straight away, one of the suggestions on the night, which was carried through, was a 12-minute walk-in for the Kilmarnock game that was coming up soon, and we'll come to that in a second. But that was the first proposal, I remember the nervousness within the room about it because, as well, you guys, you're the same as everybody else. You don't want to do things to hurt Celtic, but yeah,
You want you want your voice heard. That was the whole thing.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, the thing about the meeting at Gracie's that night was you were getting first-hand experiences from the top men at the association and the affiliation, and whilst again they were nervous to put their backing behind it, everybody kind of felt something had to get done, something had to get spoke about. So the collective sent out a message basically calling for Celtic to act on it and for Celtic to look to modernise, to upgrade, to hold people to account for what had happened in the transfer window and then subsequently the games. I mean, in actual fact, I don't think the transfer window had finished when we done that. Now I think about it, but alas, again, I think once we do something, we'll get into this. I think the collective needs reviewed as well. So I think that's one. If Celtic still haven't signed somebody next week, we can do one about that. But anyway, that's how it happened. After the Champions League loss, Celtic were drawn in the Europa League stage with an away tie with Red Star Belgrade, home to Braga and Sturm Graz, away to Midtjylland and Feyenoord, big home tie with Roma, and then away to Italy and away in Italy to Bologna, and finally a home game with Utrecht. We were also drawn away to Partick Thistle in the quarterfinals of the League Cup. Now, Celtic were scoring late goals again in September. A 2-1 away win over Kilmarnock at Rugby Park when Iheanacho showing his big heavy HomeBhoys won't be the last time, and secured as a win with a 96-minute penalty after Kelly had equalised a Maeda header. This game was the first of several Celtic fan collective protests as a large selection of the support delayed their entry at the ground for 12 minutes. Next up was Partick Thistle at Firhill. A 4-0 away win wasn't the talking point today. Yang, Liam Scales, a first for Tanecki and McCowan strikes all secondary to the poster protest by the collective, which was excellently embraced by the Celtic support that day. Our first away game was next in Belgrade. A 1-1 draw gave us some hope after a decent performance. Iheanacho again showing that if he got fit, he'd be a player for us. And he opened the scoring only to get pegged back later in the second half. The month closed with a tedious 0-0 draw at Celtic Park with Hibs. So the month finished with us now in second place after that Hibs draw. Hearts were now in 16 points and Celtic were 2 points away. We were a further 5 points ahead of St Mirren, and Rangers remained in 8th, but now 7 points on board. In the Europa League, we sat in 17th place. So anything to talk about their days, guys?
When you talk back, this is in my head in by this echo.
Let me take you off and bring you back on, right?
Aye.
That again. Can you hear me okay? I'm back on too. This is fucked.
So is it me that's causing the echo?
It could be coming from your speakers, yeah.
Because I'm not hearing an echo at all. Is it what's the chat saying about it?
Nothing. But I can hear it.
Would you like me dip it?
All right, well, both of these come back in now. Oh. You're back now, right?
Aye.
It's no echo. Right?
The echo. Aye, it must be Scott's speakers.
Scott's back in. So there we go.
Aye.
Hello.
It's you coming for you, Scott.
Right.
It's on you, Scott.
Aye. So basically, just you pick yourself a mute when we're talking.
Right. Okay. Well.
That's going to be interesting.
Right. Give us 2 minutes.
Oh. Anyway, go back to those times. Do you know what? See everything he's saying? It seems like another life ago.
Do you know what? Even when he did the first section, right, he spoke about the players leaving. It feels like 2 or 3 seasons ago.
Doesn't it?
Aye. And it's like, it just feels like Brendan Rodgers wasn't the manager last season, you know.
It's bizarre.
I'm not even at the bit that he's left yet, and it seems it was like fucking 2 seasons ago. But aye, very, very grim, especially when you back to the time. It's interesting when you think back about Rodgers calling the board out and there was only going to be one winner there, and we all kind of took the board side because of Rodgers' past, if you know what I mean. Even though we don't like the board, but you're saying he's working his ticket, he's doing this, he's doing that, but it transpires after fucking. You look back and things, you know, after the event, everything he probably said was 100% bang on. You know,
Aye. It's one of them things you look back and you go, do you know what? I wish he had said more. Because, like, I mean, it was kind of stern us right in the face when he was talking about it.
You would always get folk that would never ever take what he says, and I didn't believe half the stuff he said either. You know, I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him, but on that occasion, I think he was 100% right. And I mean, the one that must have killed him, but is losing Ida and no getting anybody in. Because if I remember right, we went in for the Scandinavian boy, and it was kind of nearly over the line. Scott will be able to. There was somebody that was.
How's that?
Much better.
That's perfect, Scott. Aye. Scott, just as well you jumped in there. See, getting back to the bit you're on about with Ida leaving. Who there was somebody we were nearly signing, was there no? One of the Scandinavians or whatever?
Yeah. Did I not fucking mention that?
You kind no, you said Rodgers was due to get somebody in, but there was meant to be
right. Actually, I've got him in the ring, but fuck aye. Casper Dolberg was the guy.
Aye, that was him.
Yeah.
Casper Dolberg was so basically late in the window we had an agreement with Anderlecht to sign Casper Dolberg, and it was all going to go, and by all accounts we were going to spend 8 million on him. And I think on the Sunday night we had it sorted, and then by the Monday his agent had contacted Celtic saying that it's no a goer. His wife wants to go back to Amsterdam, so he ended up back there. He stank the place out by all accounts, and I think they're ready to punt him. So I mean, it's mad. It's mad because that Chris Garden we were chasing for ages, and he was fucking honking and all. Do you know what I mean? So,
but you can understand with Rodgers throwing the rattle at the pram with that, you know, having to face up with the season, with then saying you've got Yin Yamada, Shin Yamada.
I mean, the thing with Yamada is again because nothing is ever confirmed. We're basically living in this. You're trying to put 2 and 2 together, and hopefully you get fucking 4. The story I was told was Yamada was offered to Rodgers when Kyogo left, and he had a look at him and said, "Nah, he's not good enough." And then things changed somewhat between. We spoke with this before. Something changed between the board and Rodgers. Again, Marty told us a long while ago that Chris Mackay had told Celtic our wage bill's far too high. And I mean, it all ties up now. Everything in hindsight is all coming round and you're kind of going, there must have been some element of truth. And Rodgers, who had already said no to Yamada, then was presented with Yamada. Your man Harry Brady on Celtic Underground said the story again. This is all putting pieces together for what you hear. Was that when it came to Ida, that's why Ida was punted rather than Dolberg. Ida was punted because Rodgers made, if I can get a striker in, he can go. And they were going, well, you got Yamada. And that caused fucking chaos. Do you know what I mean? But it was, I mean, like, it's frustrating because I'd done a lot more detail, but last summer really was a huge shit show, wasn't it? Really. I mean, and the fact that we're looking like we're going to match it is fucking scary as fuck, but it is what it is. Right, where do we get to? So we're sitting in fucking 17th place in Europe. We're going to win the Europa League. Right, October was fucking huge fun, right? So October kicked off with a pathetic 2-0 defeat to Braga. Hello, Lager, my old friend. Braga scoring a worldie for the halfway line after 20 minutes, and we didn't look like getting back into it. Maybe the keeper. I don't know, Jason, what do you think?
I forgot about him there. This is going to put me into deep depression now talking about him.
Next up was a 3-2 win over Murrow, arguably the highlight of the month. In an actual penalty, taking the lead, but a second half Negrin strike, equalising as we went 2-1 down in the second half. A late Maeda goal from a good move from who? Balak Wisha, grabbing the points. We then have another protest in our first defeat of the league season. Celtic fans were pushed to delay the match and throw balls on the pitch, suggested by the Celtic Fans Collective prior to the game. Some players were visibly annoyed, and then so were the fans as Dundee 2 first half goals and won 2-0. That was their first win at Dens Park over us since 1988. Celtic got themselves back on an even keel, a 2-1 win over a 2-1 home win over some Graz at Celtic Park. Going down early again, 2 quick second half goals from Scales and Egan saw Celtic grab the 3 points. We followed that up with a massive game against league leaders Hearts at Tynecastle. Another early goal, a Dane Murray OG this time, was equalised by Callum McGregor. But after missing a great chance late in the first half in the Negrin, Celtic were put to the sword in the second half. Bad goals meaning a 3-1 defeat and in turn the end for Brendan Rodgers. So on the 27th of October, Brendan Rodgers tendered his resignation, which was accepted by the Celtic board. Celtic released a statement that evening confirming his departure and gave thanks for his tenure. They also confirmed that former Celtic manager and club legend Martin O'Neill, 6.5 years after his last job in the age of 73, would return to his role as an interim basis. He would be back with former youth player Mark Fotheringham and current Celtic Players Pathway manager Sean Maloney as assistant. Steve McManus would also step up from his B team role to strengthen the coaching team. Brendan Rodgers in this period leaves the club with another 2 league titles, a Scottish Cup and a League Cup, to add to his previous 7 trophies that he'd won. His win percentage in this period was 66.94% compared to his previous 69.82%. It seemed being empty wasn't the only way he was going to leave. Right, on that night, Celtic themselves released a statement. Now, Celtic released, and this is Celtic's first statement, this was at 9:44 p.m. of the 27th of October. Celtic Football Club can confirm that football manager Brendan Rodgers has today tendered his resignation, has been accepted by the club, and Brendan will leave his role with immediate effect. The club appreciates Brendan's contribution to Celtic during his 2 very successful periods at the club. Brendan leaves Celtic with their thanks for the role he's played during a period of continued success for the club, and we wish him further success in the future. The process to appoint a new permanent manager is underway, and the club will update supporters further on this as soon as possible. We are pleased that during this interim period, former Celtic manager Martin O'Neill, former Celtic player Sean Maloney has agreed to take charge of first team matters. Further details are confirmed. Now, that was at 9:44. At 9:59 that night, a statement came out from Dermot Desmond, right?
Oh, yes.
Brendan Rodgers had today tendered his resignation as manager of Celtic Football Club. I want to acknowledge Brendan's contribution across his 2 spells as manager, during which he helped deliver success that forms part of the club's modern history. However, I must also express my deep disappointment at the way the past several months have unfolded. When we brought Brendan back to Celtic 2 years ago, it was done with complete trust and belief in his ability to lead the club into a new era of sustained success. Unfortunately, his conduct and communication in recent months have not reflected that trust. In June, both Michael Nicholson and I expressed to Brendan we were keen to offer him a contract extension to reaffirm the club's full backing and long-term commitment to him. He said that we need to think about it and revert. Yet in subsequent press conference, Brendan implied that the club had made no commitment to offer him a contract. That was simply untrue. We met with Brendan regularly, including in December last year and the start of summer, with regular dialogue in between to discuss and agree our collective strategy, priorities and approach. Every player signed and every player sold during his tenure was done so with Brendan's full knowledge, approval and endorsement. Any insinuation otherwise is absolutely false. His later public statements about transfers and club operations came entirely out of the blue. At no point prior to those remarks had he raised any such concerns with me, Michael, or any members of the board or executive team. In reality, he was given final say over all football matters and was consistently backed in the recruitment process, including record investment in players he personally identified and approved. When his comments were made publicly, I sought to address him direct, and Brendan and I met for over 3 hours in his Scotland home to discuss this. Despite ample opportunity, he was unable to identify a single instance where the club had instructed or failed to support him. The facts did not match his public narrative. Regrettably, his words and actions since then have been divisive, misleading, and self-serving. They have contributed to a toxic atmosphere around the club and fueled hostility towards members of the executive team and the board. Some of the abuse directed them and their families have been entirely unwarranted and unacceptable. And that's bullshit, isn't it? Right, so, aye, bollocks for there on in. Right, so,
Just
that's
fucking.
the first, well, I say like this week was the first I've read that in a wee while. And in the cold light of day, what do you think about that?
Well, by all accounts, it was wrote by Ross Desmond, and that came on right good authority.
Right, okay.
Aye.
It's a fucking toxic email. That's what it is.
Aye. Seemingly all the devious stuff that's been said publicly and stuff. And I know he did at AGM, he said it in front of everybody, so it was him that said it. But a lot of the statements and shit like that's all been for him.
I mean, one thing I've missed from this review, which I had in my previous one, which is much better, was do you remember the statement that Celtic released after we get put out after Kyra? Basically, listen, fuck all your fault. It's really, really hard doing this. Leave us alone.
Go away.
I go away, the famous go away.
Here's peace.
But see the thing that Rodgers is a wily fox. He never says anything he doesn't mean to say. And he's never ever reviewed a statement. You know, he's maybe because he's still on football and he's got things to worry about, but maybe someday he'll come out and he'll give his answer to that statement. But it was fucking bizarre. And it was so, for a football club, it was just so fucking unprofessional. I mean, who comes out with statements like that?
Do you know what? It was very close to an angry Facebook post. I mean, it was a fucking strange one. Like, we all looked at it and went, is this how professional football clubs are meant to conduct themselves?
It's an
public website.
It's an angry Facebook post after 12 cans.
I'm reading it going like,
that wee noise is climbing in your head saying, I need to fucking tell something about this.
Aye. It's one of them ones, you type it out and you read it and you go, hey, delete that. What the fuck am I doing? Get that the fuck. What are you doing? I mean, what are you doing, post?
Absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely. And the thing is as well, if you've got a guy that's acting like you're saying he is within your football club that you run, why are you not ending him long before that? You know, why are you letting it fucking linger on?
It's funny because we were biting at Rodgers, weren't we? Like the Kyrat game. The Kyrat game.
He got it all.
No, I know, but do you remember the Kyrat game? That I still to this day I felt Rodgers, being the manager that the guy is, should have done better.
Same.
He should have done better. Kyrat were garbage, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, we were stinking the place out, but they were garbage. And the statement he made, do you remember when he signed up and Liam asked us, Liam brought it up recently, Jason, and I think it was me, you and him that were on it, and he said, do you all think that Brendan Rodgers will stay for 3 years? Me and you said aye, and he was like, I'm surprised by that. But I think he thought that he would be fucking, but he made the statement, didn't he? The only way I'll leave this club is if I'm emptied. And then he ended up, I mean, the fact, see, I know he quit, but it sounds like he didn't have any choice in it, did it?
Aye,
I mean,
he was getting sacked basically.
Aye.
But the thing for me, right, I'm with you, Scott, right? A guy has managerial nous, right, with the players at your disposal, should have beat Kyrat. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we didn't bring anybody in. You could have played a couple of reserves in that team, and you should still have done enough to pick them out. The game at Celtic Park was a fucking joke, and then the one over there. And you're looking at Dyson Maeda as well, because obviously his heat's pickled because he's wanting to leave. But is there any merit in saying if any of us were Brendan Rodgers, right? We're all fucking Celtic daft. I don't think he is. He's obviously Celtic minded, right? But he's a professional manager.
He's a professional, aye. The emotion is kind of out it for him, man.
Aye. But do you think if you're working under the constraints and you're working for the absolute wankers that you're working for, you're maybe glad they get beat just to fuck them off?
Aye, there is a bit of me in there.
Totally. There would be
because
a bit of that there.
You think about it, I mean, like, the wee boy Carl Osmond turned out to be a decent player. I mean, in his fleeting, and he never gave him a sniff. As we spoke about at the time, I kind of understood why Negrin was in the team, because he was the only guy scoring. Because Dyson's head was firmly out the window. But I thought taking Arnie Engels out the team just fucking totally, we lost. The midfield just disappeared. The midfield was shambles. And then Callum McGregor turned into the most fucking regressive player ever. You know what I mean? Seeing that game, do you remember that game they had the ball and he looked up and he passed it back to Scales, man? I was like,
But the thing is as well, that must have trickled down to all the players that knew the score. Maybe guys like Negrin and that are just in the door trying to make an impression, blah, blah, everyone's new to them. They're like, maybe this is just the way it always is here, just go on with it. But your experienced players that's worked under them before, working under them there, they must have knew a lot of the stuff that was going on. I mean, I'm not saying he was telling them, but you would have known by his mannerisms, the way he was acting, you know, you would have been able to tell without a doubt that this guy's majorly fucking pissed off with this football club. And I think a lot of, because if you think about it as well, we hardly had one good performance in his time this season. We were terrible.
No, that's true. That was something I was thinking about as I was going through. As I was going through the games, like Joe says, if you take out the Almaty games from that August, you've got 3 wins and a draw, and the draw's away to Ibrox, right? And you kind of go, right, by the way, that's all right.
Aye.
Right, but then the Huns were reeking. The Huns were like bottom of the league or something. You know what I mean? And we've rocked up and we've no fucking laid a finger on them. But the fact is, it was toxic, and it was, and forever Ross or Dermot or fucking Joey or Jimmy Dawson, whoever the fucking made a statement about Celtic. The toxicity came from the fact what we were watching. The summer was just a shambles, especially after this first summer of Rodgers and then that summer last year. I mean, there's nothing. Like, do you know, like we always say, pre-season doesn't mean nothing. Is it any thinking that our best pre-season ever was that one we went to America and we battled fucking Man City, we battled Chelsea and all that? Was the one we get everything done early and we'd all ducks in a row and all that. Do you know what I mean? And we flew into that season. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, you end up getting beat off in Dortmund 7-1, but that
was the only blip really. The rest
exactly,
of the season was magical.
So I mean, we always talk. We just I don't know.
When you go back to the start of last season, right? You're right. We shouldn't have beat St Mirren in the first game.
No.
Motherwell should have beat us. We beat them 3-2. Right?
3-2, yeah.
The only game we should have won, really, we were very much in the ascendancy, was Aberdeen away, the 2-0 game.
Livingston 3-0.
Aye, but the Aberdeen team, worst team in a generation.
Yeah. Do
you know what I mean?
Honky tonk, aye.
Brutal.
Because that was as comfortable as you get.
Aye, but it was absolutely awful, and you always thought it was going to get better. And you say you put your faith in Rodgers, but he had chucked the towel in, and in the cold light of day, when you look back at it, can you blame the guy? Probably no.
But you go for that St Mirren game. God, the St Mirren game will eked all the line. Aberdeen were garbage.
Yeah.
Livingston kind of set the standard for themselves. That Rangers were rotten. We drew nothing each. Kilmarnock were worthy of the draw that day, and we stole it after them.
Yeah.
Hibs came to Celtic Park. We stank the place out. We were fucking minging, man. The Motherwell game, did we deserve it? No. Dundee game, we were rotten, but the collective stuff took the heat off of the team because.
Yeah.
But I remember, see that Dundee game. I remember sitting there and I watched the subs get warmed up and Johnny Kenny was getting warmed up, and I fucking lost the plot. Do you know? Now that way I started laughing, but then I get more and more angry at myself, and I was sitting going, "This is it. Johnny Kenny's on to save the day." I don't know if we'd have shot at target the whole day. And then the Hearts game, a different day, you maybe get a draw out it, but you put in young guys and they get fucking shown up, didn't they?
Yeah. And then you're just ready to come to my favourite man of the season, Bill Casper.
Well, well, he's no yet, is he? Fuck's sake, Casper, is he?
No,
but it's something that I missed as well. So before that Dundee game, we spoke about the boys on the pitch, but that came after a meeting on the 16th of October in Grace's again with the collective. It was the second meeting, and the protest was agreed, whilst what it wasn't agreed on, but we were agreed that mass destruction was the plan, and then we were kind of going to look at it. But also what started that day was not another penny, which I think, had it not been anybody, any other club would have reacted to it, because I think it is working, and it's something I'd like to talk about again. I'd actually like to do a collective, but if we could get somebody for the collective on, just to have a wee chat about what the plan is and stuff like that. But I think not another penny's worked. But it started on 16th October last year, just before that Dundee game. So where did we get to? So as I say, right, so Martin O'Neill's first return as manager was on the 29th of October, a Wednesday night at Celtic Park. Johnny Kenny, the aforementioned, grabbed a couple of first half goals, and Negrin and Tanecki followed up for a big 4-0 win. More was to come. An eventful October finished with Celtic in the semi-final of the League Cup at Hampden against Rangers. We were still second in the league, 5 ahead of Rangers in third, but 6 off of Hearts in top space, and we were 7 goals worse off in the goal difference. In the Europa League, that win had lifted us back into contention in 21st place. So, as we head into November, right? November's fucking huge for a whole bust of things here. The opening of the month was the semi-final versus Rangers at Hampden. Despite dominating much of the match that day, it took extra time in Martin O'Neill's match, and it matched Martin O'Neill's first Rangers League Cup semi-final win and 3-1 win in their new manager, Danny Rowe. Johnny Kenny's first half goal was equalised by a 81st minute penalty, but Callum McGregor and a first goal for debutant Callum Osmond sent Celtic back to Hampden in December. That joy was quickly dampened as Celtic were tore apart in Denmark. A 3-1 scoreline flatters Celtic, a late Hattati penalty, making it look better than it was, as Michelin really did take his looking apart on the night. On that night, we also lost young Osmond to a hamstring issue in what was worrying run of injuries. Cameron Carter-Vickers, who hasn't had injury setbacks to look for in his time in the club, saw his season finish in the match versus Graz, whilst during the same game, after only 3 minutes in, Iheanacho was subbed off due to another hamstring injury. Celtic were at home next, a 4-0 win over Kilmarnock. Kenny, Tierney, Maeda and Arnie Engels all scoring. However, Tierney's goal came as a result of him replacing Sirachi for what? A hamstring injury. And next up was Celtic's AGM. I'll come to that in a second. Followed that was a good 1-0 win away in Paisley in a torrid game of football. A stunning Callum McGregor 95th minute goal gave the Celtic fans a happy journey home. And next up was another great night as Celtic rekindled their European rekindled their European qualification hopes with a tremendous 3-1 away win in Rotterdam over Feyenoord. Yang, Hatate and Negrin scoring goals, bringing us back for a goal down. We finished the month off with another slog, but ultimately a great 2-1 win over Hibs at Easter Road. Maeda and another Arnie Engels goals winning it. So November it ended with Celtic back in the running. We now sat 3 points off Hearts, with Rangers 4 points behind us. We were in the League Cup final against St Mirren, and in Europa we were back in 21st place, and qualification for the playoffs was in sight. We were on a roll, nothing could stop us at this point.
Did it.
What a team, what a team.
So, here, again, Scott, another tremendous month, it appears.
What's that, mate?
Another tremendous month.
That
looks good. Like, that looks good.
By the way, I've missed it. I've missed something for October as well. I'll come. Right, so I'll go back to October and try and encompass this. I apologise for me jumping about the place. So, in September, at the end of September, the collective agreed to have a 3-match silent protest, where for the Celtic game against Hibs, the 0-0 game, Celtic fans were going to stay silent for 12 minutes. And then in the following game, the Braga game, we were going to stay silent for 29 minutes. And then the Motherwell game on the 5th, we were going to stay silent for 32 minutes. Now, the Hibs game, the 12 minutes was carried out. And as we get to the Braga game, the Celtic collective, not directly, through other channels, were contacted by Celtic. And a meeting was arranged at Celtic Park. Now, this meeting happened on the 6th of October, 2025. And it was decided that the collective would send, I think, 11 delegates went. I'd need to confirm that. Obviously, as I say to my things, so 11 delegates, which a bit top heavy, of course, were decided to go. But what happened was that Celtic want each of the groups represented. The Celtic collective wanted each group represented, and they went along that night. And the way they were treated that night. Now, I wasn't in the room, but as I say, I was in the collective. And it's funny because after the meeting, people who said, this is their words, I should have known better. We walked into that meeting with the highest of hopes. There was people walking into that meeting who had met Celtic numerous times before, be them representatives of associations, affiliations, whatever. And there was a whole bust of people walking in for the first time under the Celtic pretext. And I have never seen a ball being bust like that. The chat was so demoralising as a Celtic fan. They said the way they were spoke to, Celtic admitted nothing. Celtic spoke down to them. They laughed in their face when things were put to them. They replied continuously, well, yeah, we'll work on that, we'll get back to you. And those who have loads of dealings with Celtic said, I've heard all this pish before. The GB, the trust, the association, the affiliation. The guys who walked into that room, I hope he doesn't mind me, he knows Paul John Dykes, Paul Thompson, guys who walked in willing. They weren't walking in already pre-described what was going to happen. They walked in fresh, thinking this was a good opportunity, and they broke them that day. They come back, and it almost made the collective more determined, the way they were spoken to, and famously that day, and I don't think it matters now. I mean, I think it's all out in the open. So Celtic wanted an agreed set of minutes, and we done our minutes, and we handed them over to Celtic, and Celtic rejected one thing. So a question was made by a member of the collective just offhand to Michael Nicholson, and he says, why is Brendan Rodgers claiming that these signing on his? And Michael Nicholson went, I don't know. And they wanted, I don't know, replaced with a shoulder shrug. that was the only thing they wanted to change. for your notes.
Hands in the air.
Right, that's it. So we released our minutes, they released their minutes. Their minutes were considerably different to ours. Their minutes made out that they were basically putting their hands in the air, Joe, and going, yeah, we're bad. We'll try and get it. No, it's funny about that. People used their minutes to attack the collective. Right? They used their minutes. They said, you said this happened. And Celtic said, look, Celtic have put their hands up. Celtic admitted this. Celtic said they'll do this. Celtic have done fuck all since. So Celtic tell you fuck. See, everybody who agreed with Celtic's way of things, they tell you lies. Right? That's what happened. It reaffirmed my belief in the collective and things needed to change. We'll do a wee overall chat at the end of this about the collective and what happened at the end of through the season. But that was a huge point. And then the AGM happened. And the AGM, we had a meeting before the AGM about how we were going to approach it. And I think the line we were going to take was, we're taking no shit here. Now, Jason, have you been at an AGM?
Years ago, mate.
Years ago, right? Joe, I would imagine you've not been to one, Joe, nah?
No.
Right. So I went to two back years and years ago when this would be a cool thing to do, right? And when I went to these meetings, it was a pile of nonsense. Really was a pile of nonsense. Because they had all millions of votes, and no matter what happened, they all voted themselves back in every time. There's nothing we could have done. Anything that they disagreed with was done. You had some of the most inane chat, people moaning about stuff in the grand scheme didn't matter. But see, in fairness, it mattered to them, so that they had every right to bring it up. Now, we had a meet up. I wasn't going to go to the wedding that day at the AGM, but we were going to go in numbers, and we weren't going to let them have it the way they wanted to have it. That was agreed at the beginning. We wanted to let them know as they walk in that we were hearing numbers. And we all know what happened, right? We know what happened. Ross Desmond had his wee speech. Peter Law treated everybody with total contempt. He spoke down to people, and then eventually cancelled it after 24 minutes. Now, I've been told by people who know better than me, you walked into a trap. You walked right into what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And my reply to that every time was, right, that might be the case, but why the fuck are Celtic laying traps for their shareholders? Why are Celtic no growing a set of boys and fucking acting like adults and responding and answering the fucking questions?
Yeah.
What happened that day, I think, needs a bit of reflection. It needs a wee bit of chat. Did it work? Was it good? Did it get the aims that you were wanting beforehand? I don't think so in the cold light of day. At the time, I wasn't bothered. Fuck them. But in the cold light of day, I'm a wee bit more reflective to go, aye, we could be better. But I just feel that in the cold light of day, we'll let them off with it.
Yeah. But I can see where you're coming from both ways. Like, but at the time, very practically, I was like, Celtic have let a non-employee, son of a billionaire, come out, make a statement to shareholders who have money in the club, chastising them. And then when it came to the response, it was like, not taking this out the door. And I was like, I'm sorry, but that's fucking insane. Like, that is insane. That is an insane way to treat people who have put money into the business that you are fronting. Not even you, not even part of the business. Whoever the fuck whoever you're here fronting. Like, I was astounded at that. I remember just like being so angry. I hadn't been that angry in a while. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? This is pageantry. This is expensive theatre. You're being demeaned.
You're an absolute disgrace. I mean, these are the guys that pay your wages that are at that AGM. You know, these are the guys that keep the club running. These are the guys representing your full fan base. And to treat them like that is fucking disgraceful. And by the way, there was a bit of jostling for the crowd and stuff like that, but there was genuine questions asked for genuine reasons. And they didn't have the balls to answer them, or they didn't have the answers. But it was just absolutely shocking. From Celtic's perspective, so amateurish and just everything about our club, just so fucking stuck in the dark ages.
Do you know how we've spoken on here a few times about how like modern football clubs? I mean, and I'm like saying, I'm going to point out obvious ones like Wrexham and Sunderland, and certain clubs that have people at the very top that run them are not the suit wearing fucking elite fucking kind of conservative people now. They're kind of regular fucking people. They know how to deal with people. They know how to like create structure. And again, like when Johnny Owen was on talking about the guy that runs Nottingham Forest, went in and found out what the club meant to people and became culturally adjacent. These are people who understand how to operate essentially cultural institutions. Aye. Essentially, Odysseus.
You don't want to shoot somebody.
I know, but like he went in and found out what the club meant to them. You're missing my point, right?
No, I'm only kidding.
What I'm saying is, I mean, like that's modern. In my mind, modern football should be operating with like modern-minded people because that's how business works. It evolves and it changes. What we're operating with is a very fucking small-minded, contained, elitist, suit-wearing, Scottish fucking mentality that like doesn't seem to have any capacity to expand or develop.
Scottish mentality.
No, I don't mean that. I mean the elitist mentality in Scotland.
I don't think it's anything to do with Scotland, mate.
I know, but they're all buying into whatever it is.
Yeah, but it's fuck all to do with Scotland. It's just fucking billionaires just flexing their muscles and saying, "These are the shit in my shoe," and fucking I will not be fucking told to do a single thing that any of you say. I'll do it my way.
Well, you know, I take that back. Then I am wrong. That makes way more sense. It's a billionaire coming in, going like, "Do what I say, or fucking this business is going to go to shit, and you're fired."
Yeah,
that's what it is, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day, if anything, the Ross Desmond thing proved that, I suppose. I mean, I'm going to send my son in here. You don't fucking know who he is. He's not employed. He's going to fucking read the statement, and we're all going to fucking set the house on fire. And you're going like, "What the fuck are we doing here?"
No, it was no. I just can't. The way Celtic continue to run this club is. I'll summarise my thoughts at the end, but at this point, the new I've never been so disillusioned, to be honest. But alas, I was still fucking going. Right.
Anyway, charge on.
Right. So that was the end of November. We were hitting our stride. We were fucking looking great. Right. So, what did we get to November?
Beat Hibs in November, yeah.
Reports were hitting Glasgow that Celtic had ended their search for a new manager, and Frenchman Wilfried Nancy would be the man to replace the legend Martin O'Neill in the dugout. But before that, O'Neill signed off with another battling but ultimately successful win. A 1-0 win over Dundee at Celtic Park with an 11-minute Dyson goal meant Martin O'Neill and his team had returned to the club and won 7 of his 8 games, and he'd even won away in Europe and taken the team to another final. We could only kick on, Joe. So on the 3rd of December, the same day as the win over Dundee, Celtic appointed Wilfried Nancy as their new manager, with Chairman Peter Law saying, "We will give Wilfried all our support as we look to once again bring success for our fans." Mick the Mute even piped up with, "We will give Wilfred every support to face the challenges ahead, with our aim as always to deliver success for the club, which our supporters deserve this season and beyond." Even our overlord Dick Dastardly was open to say, "Everyone at the club will unite strongly behind Wilfred as we move forward, and will ensure we will give him our unswerving support as we strive to achieve our objectives." So we can all look forward to a fucking busy January, I suppose, eh? Anyway, in a game which could see Celtic hopefully catch leaders and join them at the top of the table, Celtic hosted Hearts at Celtic Park to put the plucky upstarts in their place. Before this, however, thousands of Celtic fans and supporters clubs gathered at St Mary's Chapel with flags and banners and marched to Celtic Park in protest again at the club. And sure enough, Celtic lost 2-1. Kieran Tierney's 93rd minute strike, not enough on the day. We were then battered 3-0 at home by Roma. Nothing positive at all in that game. And then we lost 3-1 to St Mirren at Hampden, going down a goal in the first minute. A tight equaliser was only a tease as Celtic were outthought and outbattled. Next up was Dundee United, a midweek tie at Tannadice. Despite leading through a Maeda goal and battering United for 45 minutes, Celtic were ultimately defeated 2-1. And Nancy became the first Celtic manager in 47 years to lose 4 in a row. That was United's first win over Celtic since 2014. The atmosphere of the game was horrible as the fans turned on the board, players and manager, and even themselves. Chairman Peter Law, after years of millions of income, decided to quit the club, citing abuse and threat. A fucking cheek. He was replaced by a fellow old person, ex-Labour politician, Brian Wilson, for an interim period, which means he shouldn't be there that long. Things picked up. A 3-1 win at Celtic Park. Do you know, this stunned me? Right? Things picked up. A 3-1 win at Celtic Park over Aberdeen. Despite leading for most of the match, it took an 88-minute 3-2 Aberdeen, 3-1 should Aberdeen, should I say? It took an 88-minute Kieran Tierney goal to give us a lead, and then for James Forrest in the 92nd minute to guarantee the win. Now, I remember that day. Celtic were brilliant. Jason, you remember that? Joe, would you at that game?
Don't think so.
That's when I kind of turned and thought, maybe there is something in this. I actually thought the first game, I think it was Hearts, was it?
Hearts.
They were right good for the first.
Right, well, I'll finish the month and then we can talk.
On you go.
I'll finish the month then, right? News at Hearts had dropped points, but proceeded to our next game at Livingston, and we all looked forward to an uncomplicated match. We conceded in the 3rd minute and then the 8th minute, and it took a Negrin and Yang equaliser before Engel and another Negrin finished the game. 2 in a row, what a team. And then Motherwell away on the 30th of December. Celtic were battered, pillar to post, could have been anything, fucking woeful. So come year end, amazingly, that Motherwell defeat meant that we again missed an opportunity to go level with Hearts as they sat in 41 points and we had 38, with Rangers 3 off us in 3rd, all playing 19 games. Motherwell at that point were only another 2 off Rangers. In the Europa, we were clinging on as we sat in the last qualifying place of 24th. Next up was the Huns at Celtic Park, but at least we knew, we all the patter, that we were going to have players ready to go for that game. But Jason, right, so the reason I brought that up, Joe, right, was, as I say, at this point, nothing positive was coming out of me about Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
And we beat Aberdeen 3-1 that day, right? And Celtic could have won that game 10-0. Easy peasy. But we won 3-1. And it was only for doing the review was, I never realised how late in the day we scored. I thought the last one came late in the day, but I never realised it was the 88th minute. And what Jason's saying is bang on, because I ended up sitting having a couple of pints with him afterwards, and I was livid by it. I was livid by how close, by how we nearly turned. We couldn't turn the play on the pitch into
A good performance.
positivity, right? And then obviously the Livingston game, which was fucking hard work against Livingston. I mean, I don't know if you remember it. I think Hearts get beat 3-2 Alfie Hibs that day. Would that be right? Does anybody remember?
So yep.
Do you remember they were 3-0 up in
Hibs
Canton?
were 3-0 up, and then they come back to 3-2.
And we sat in a wee car parked up in Livingston. My mate drove up and we put it on the phone and we had it sitting and we were saying on the way up, a nice, comfortable Celtic performance. Doesn't need to be all out attack. Just a nice 2-0 and don't get us all stressed out. And then we're sitting watching this game and Hearts are getting beat 3-0. And then Hearts scored. And then Hearts scored again. And I'm certain Hearts hit the bar. And what was an unstressful watching became a stressful watching. And then you walk into the game and Celtic are a goal down after 3 minutes. Jesus, man. And then that obviously led up to that Motherwell game, which was...
I know. So, see to take it back a bit, right? Obviously, this is the Nancy spell, but to go back further, we never really touched it. See on Martin O'Neill's spell, although the football wasn't good, he was getting us the results. And he brought back that feel-good factor again, right? And the crazy thing for me, when we got Nancy, and I was backing him, I was like, hopefully this guy turns out to be good, something new. And the bit for me, straight away, alarm bells, is it's the only occasion when you very rarely get this in a football club, where you've got a manager that's leaving, giving his best wishes to the new manager, because he's leaving because it was all agreed that he was only coming in temporary basis and he's leaving. And he's got a million years worth of experience. This guy's coming in new to the league, and you say to yourself, surely to fuck this guy will lock Martin O'Neill down in a room for 2 days and just pick his brain about everything, so that he knows everything that he can possibly gather in 2 days, and then he can take it to the training field. No change too much and blah blah. Seemingly he met Martin O'Neill 2 minutes, shook his horn, and that was it. But even if he did meet him, conversation. And then I found out as well that Wilfred Nancy, when he came to Celtic Park with his assistant, there was nobody there to meet him. So he comes into Celtic Park, and it's I think it was a catering guy or something that let him in. And he walked out on the park and stood about and then just pissed off. There was not one person for Celtic there to meet him. You know, at the end of the day, the guy was a maniac, right? But for fuck's sake.
Let me ask you this though. At what point did it become quite apparent to you that this guy hadn't a fucking clue what he was doing? Because I think around the Livingston game, I mean, even though we won that game, there was so many massive fucking holes in his football philosophy and his ideas. Like the 2 Livingston goals kind of came from the same sort of area, the same sort of movement.
Yeah. They ran through us. And
I was having lunch with our Colin and his sister and my uncle Michael and my cousins and stuff down in Dublin that day, watching that game in the restaurant. And me and him were looking at each other, going like, "What the fuck is this guy doing? This guy hasn't a clue what he's up against."
Well, we talk about the Huns game, so we can talk about the whole shebang. Then we'll talk about Nancy. No, I think Jason's right. What he's saying about.
But what I wanted to cover there, Scott, was after. So the Aberdeen game, me and you were conflicting sort of thing. I thought we were really good. The performance was really good. And when you think back at our first half performances under him were really good, and then we just fell off a cliff. It was fucking bonkers. But I'm just saying to myself, maybe it'll just click. It'll click. In the Livingston, I was kind of putting that down. At least we get the result. But if you remember, Scott, I met you before the Motherwell game.
You never met me. You sat with me for about 6 hours, maybe.
No, that's what I'm saying. I met you. We arranged to meet in the work before the game, me and all your mates. So we sat there and we were all chewing the fat and we're like fucking... and it was like, there was everybody had a different opinion, right? But we were all saying, let's fucking, you never know, this might be the start of something amazing, if the players can get into his way of thinking with the forward attacking football, this could be fucking magic. And we've all walked into Motherwell with a wee spring in our step saying, fucking, you know what I mean? Hearts are kind of floundering. And I think at that point as well, you weren't really bothered about Hearts. You're saying to yourself, they'll fall away. But all we've got to do is just fucking find our rhythm and fucking take it from there. And we goes down to Motherwell, and my God, it's one of the biggest shellackings I've ever seen Celtic have in my life in Scottish football. It was borderline absolutely embarrassing. And Motherwell, I mean, they beat us 2-0, but it was 2-0 going on 8-0. I actually walked out with 15 minutes to go and just walked up the road.
Yeah.
It was fucking disgusting. And see, for then, you were just saying, this is fucking pathetic. Pathetic. And that's when it hit me, Joe. You asked the question, when did it hit you? It was walking out of Fir Park that night. I was just like...
So Paul on the chat, I'll put it up, and he's kind of... He's said something that I was going to bring up now. Obviously, and I forgot to mention that the Celtic rescinded the press passes for the fan media. I forgot about that one as well. But it was really interesting that our three leaders, Peter Law, Nicholson, and Dick Dastardly, all come out and says, we're going to back this guy. This guy's going to get every bit of your support. What a guy this guy is. He's a future. He's going to be doing this, going to be doing that. And we just fucked him out in front of the press. And we never backed him. We never supported him. We just, every week he would fly. And you remember, I mean, I've got to admit, Martin, he was doing my chomping and with some of his press conferences. But after week one, I think I stopped listening to Wilfred Nancy's press conference.
He floundered a lot. He floundered.
But the thing is, and he was an absolute maniac, right? But the club's got to be culpable here as well, because
100%.
The guy turns up to Celtic Park and a guy for the catering staff letting him into the stadium to show.
But again, that leads to my thing, right? And it leads to what I'm going to bring up next. But that fucking rat bag who brought him in,
exactly.
Tisdale, we'll talk about him. He'll be mentioned in a second, but he should have been sitting beside him at least. I mean, like, I know he speaks really good English, the boy, but it's still his second language. And you're in Glasgow, where fucking they're going to go for you. They don't fucking like you right for you off. Never mind the fact you're a black fucking foreigner. You know what I mean? Fucking hell, there'd be protests at his door. Fucking if he was to sign a new.
I know.
But we never supported him. But as you said, right, so my mate's just text me there, right? So my mate's listening in, and this is what he says. He says, first time I knew Nancy was a dick was right for the start. He says before the Hearts game, we would only make minor changes, turned up and went at state 3-5-2. Guy was a total fraud. I'm no far off that.
No,
I'm no far.
I agree with that.
I walked up. We done the protest that day. I had my wee patter that made me internet famous for 15 minutes, where everybody was slagging my hat and my fucking dress, and I was a nerd and all that. Even my brown lads gave me dogs abuse, right? But and I went into the game, and obviously I never knew the march was going to go right round. I went into the game. I was in the game for about an hour early without a pint. I was like, and I ended up sitting talking, and a guy walked up to me and went, he's went 3-5-2, and I was like, I started laughing. He went, no, he's went 3-5-2, and I was like, what the fuck? And as you say, Jason, we came out that first half and we blew them away, but we nobody to put the ball in the net.
And see, the thing is, see if he had a striker, he'd probably still be our manager now.
I don't know.
Well, possibly, but
I don't know. I mean, but that makes, sorry, Jason, that makes him marry a fucking idiot then.
Aye, no,
you pee with the coat you've got.
But see the bit that brought it home to me. See when you had your pal on here, the boy Brian. See when Brian was on and Brian explained it about. Says, listen, these guys have played football all their days, and 90% of the time they've played this way, and he changes it so that they need to play that way. and he says, it's all right saying, because my thing to Liam was a big critic of it, right? And I'm sitting with Liam, and I'm like, these are professional football players, they should be able to adapt. But when Brian McColligan said it's not as easy as that, then I started to understand, and it was absolute madness. But at the time, I was going, professional football players, they should be able to adapt. I mean, it's no fucking, you're still kicking a ball about a park, but it's totally alien to them. And I totally get the point, and obviously Liam was right, which I don't like saying, but there you go. Skip will be listening tomorrow morning, but 100%, I was miles off. But that's the way I was thinking at the time, and the guy was an absolute fucking disaster.
But I believe in magic. I was like, you know what, it'll be all right. Fucking.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry, no, crack on.
No, that was it. I had this belief going like, it'll click, and it just fucking. But Livingston was like the first time I was like, oh fuck, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. But I was also going like, it might come good. Who knows?
Well, if you're saying Livingston, then no, I was before that. I was. I think I was done before that. I was done at the Dundee United. Dundee United game, because. But see that game, you've got a striker, you're walloping him.
Yeah,
but it was a fact that we all saw what was going to happen, and he let it happen. And to me, that's not a manager. That's not a coach. You kind of right. You've no go. Change things up. Make it hard for them. The Dundee United done exactly what St Mirren done is. I mean, it was just so infuriating. That's not a coach. That's just fucking.
Hatate it right back in that game. There was madness.
Hatate right back was Martin O'Neill.
Was it Martin O'Neill? But there was some madness going on. It's some madness going on in that game as well. It was fucking brilliant.
It's the thing you're talking about, Brian. I mean, there is loads of merit to what you're saying as well, Jason. But you notice, see the guys who get reinvented into different positions, they're generally intelligent football players, and a lot of them aren't they? A lot of them just want to go and do their job, and they want to. Centre-halves just want to be centre-halves, just want to fucking clear the ball, do you know what I mean? Austin Trusty is no inclination in passing the ball. You know what I mean? He just wants to header the ball, and he's good at when he just has to header the ball. But no, the Dundee United game, I thought he was done. I was hoping he was done. That probably led to why I never gave him much credit in the Aberdeen game. And also, you'll remember my big pal John, who was with us that day. I think what we done that day was we exacerbated each other's negativity. Do you know what I mean? Do you know that way, if you've got two negative people being negative together, that they kind of just agree on everything, and you're never getting through. No, I mean, the two of us have got, because I think we were canned in the game, and we were arguing with everybody around us, everybody, man. But alas, Paul's made it. I think Yang. I'll tell you who actually looked good in that system was Negrin. That was Negrin's best performances were under him, even though he was overall his goal scoring was better at other points. But I thought he was a better player. But we'll come to the final blow. So, as we said, sure enough, 30th of January came. Rodgers wanted it, O'Neill wanted it, Nancy sure as heck fuck needed it, the players demanded it, the new striker was coming in. No, we signed a right back on loan for Bournemouth. Julian Araujo, Joe, I can hear loads of clicking. You done that. Julian Araujo was signed for half a season on loan from Premiership side on the 2nd of January. The manager, who was now being left to unravel in front of us all, majority of his own fucking fault, despite all the promises, was left to hang himself. Celtic lined up against Rangers and went 1-0 up in the game, which again should have been done by half time. But as before, we collapsed and Rangers won 3-1 at Celtic Park, and it was over. Wilfred Nancy's tenure at Celtic Park was done 2 days after the match. Celtic announced he would be leaving the club 33 days as manager, 8 games, 6 losses, the first ever Celtic manager to lose his first 2 matches. Amazingly enough, the man who oversaw the downfall of Rodgers and Nancy's appointment, the good football doctor Paul Tilsdale, also removed from his position as head of football operations. To this day, I have fucking no clue what his voice even sounds like. Tisdale, who made his debut in English Premier League with Southampton, had a decent lower league and foreign football career and managed again in the lower league in England, but was appointed into the role in October 2024. Again, I have no idea who fucking appointed him. And sure enough, the same day it was announced that Martin O'Neill, Mark Fotheringham and Sean Maloney would return again to their intern roles, meaning we have now an intern chairman, an intern manager, an intern assistant, and intern coaches. Tremendous. But O'Neill does what O'Neill does. A 4-0 victory over Dundee United at Celtic Park. Yang, Engels, Negrin and Maeda goals taking the points. Next was the Scottish Cup and down to Killie for a 4th round tie with Auchinleck Talbot. On a cold night, Celtic eventually ran out 2-0 winners, Johnny Kenny and Tanecki with the goals. A midweek rearranged fixture with Falkirk was next. A really, really tough tie, but as Celtic do under O'Neill, we scraped over the line. A first half Negrin header was enough to win it. O'Neill had the team fighting at this stage and the confidence was returning hit by hit. Next was a difficult trip to Serie A side and Coppa Italia holders Bologna. A tremendous first half by Celtic saw us grab a 2-0 goal lead through Hattati and Austin Trusty. But Rio's red card made things tough and we conceded 2 second half goals to share the points. The big games kept coming and it was Tynecastle next, with Celtic taking the lead through a great Negrin free kick, our first since Jota in the Bernabeu. But we were pulled back before another Yang goal looked to give us a point. Trusty, after his midweek goal, saw red, and Claudio Braga equalised late in the game for a second 2-2 in 4 days. We finished off the month in style. Utrecht came to Celtic Park for the round of 8 fixtures of the Europa League. Celtic took a massive 3-goal lead and then switched off. 2 goals made things nervy until Austin Trusty rounded off a mad 7 days for him with another goal to finally settle it. So January finished with Celtic in 3rd place, Hearts way out in front in 51 points, Rangers 4 points behind in 2nd, and us sitting 3rd with 45 points, 6 points off top spot, minus 7 goal difference from the top team. In the playoffs, we finished in 21st place and qualified for the playoff rounds in the Europa League, where, not unlike the season before, we ended up with the worst draw. Between Ferencváros and Stuttgart, we were drawn with the Germans. We also drew Dundee at home in the Scottish Cup. Transfer-wise, Stephen Welsh returned, played against Talbot and then returned to Motherwell. Simpson Pusey, who played a total of 2 games for the club, returned to City and subsequently joined Cologne in the Bundesliga, and a move he's since made permanent. Japanese flop, Inamura and Yamada both left the club on loan. Inamura to Tokyo FC, Yamada to Prussian Münster. Johnny Kenny was loaned out to Bolton. Oh, no, sorry. Before that, Inamura played 1 game for the club and Yamada made 1 start and 10 sub-appearances. Johnny Kenny was loaned out to Bolton, whilst Odin Thiago Holm, another remnant of the 2023 summer signing spree, rejoined the club from LA and left soon after to join Valerenga in loan, where he will remain until his contract ends. After Simpson Pusey departed, Celtic picked up Benjamin Arthur from Brentford. Yes, as you guessed it, on loan. Still desperate for that striker after we're believing we had signed Kyogo Furuhashi back. Celtic signed Junior Adamu on the 2nd of February on loan from Freiburg. And then a day later signed another loan as Joe Madvuka, who we had agreed to pay £3 million for from Lorient before he failed a medical and was signed, wait for it, on loan. And finally, 7 days after the window finished, we also picked up Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on a free 5.5 months after leaving Besiktas. So there's your January, gentlemen. Great fun, eh?
King, do you know what? It was just the relief that Nancy was away.
Aye.
It was just, everything about it was just, it was mad.
Dark times, like.
It was.
End of January, it was a dark place.
Well,
Can you imagine
I
if
think
Martin
December. I mean, January was a wee shining light, wasn't it? He started off with 100 defeat and then Mad Martin back in the game. I mean, see, I've spoken with there, Jason. You remember that Falkirk game? Falkirk battered us that game, and we won 1-0.
I was there. It was terrible.
Aye,
Absolutely terrible.
man.
Freezing and all. Fucking Baltic. I mean, did I tell you about the guy in the Falkirk game that night?
What was that?
Right, so I was standing at, mind, we only get, I don't know how many, fucking 600 tickets.
I was there and all, mate.
900 tickets, I didn't even see you. But anyway, I'd walked in, I was with Seamus and, who was away? Me, Magoo, Seamus and Tommy. But I was standing out talking to Big Marty or something outside and they'd all went in. So I've walked in myself and I couldn't see them, and I'm like, fuck, I'll just go and sit in my seat. And my seat was right up the back right-hand side, like at the kind of bit next to the Falkirk fans. And they're across fucking a wee bit 4 seats with a couple of sheets there that keep us apart, right? So it's fucking freezing cold. I was just on there, but delighted we get a goal and all that. And they're all singing and they're getting at the fucking your Fenian knees and that. Only a couple of them right enough, right? But it's coming out and you're just like, I can't be fucking bored, right? Fucking, I'm just watching the game here. And it was in the second half, and the Celtic fans were quiet as fuck, even when we went 1-0 up. There was no singing or nothing, no atmosphere. And all you heard for the Falkirk fans was, and I thought somebody was fucking taking the piss out of us, but it was I couldn't replicate the noise if I tried, right? And fucking, because there was loads of fucking ill sectarian abuse coming out of our way, sort of thing. And the coppers were chucking a couple of them out of them. But just this fucking, it was all dead quiet. Wow. And I was like, what the fuck's that? So the next thing I looked through, and there was a few Celtic fans that, you know, a couple of them abuse because of the sectarian abuse. And it turns out one of the guys next to us must have been deaf and dumb. And he's standing up, like, shouting at Falkirk, but he's making all these fucking
laughing, but you shouldn't laugh.
Shouldn't laugh at that, but it is. But the idea is funny.
Sake, man, but the guy, because it was deadly quiet, right? And fucking, oh my god, you could see the folk running about him, like everyone just fucking calm down. And I was there running about me, it was the wee chuckles into your collar and all that, you know, there wasn't it? Because folk were trying to be decent about it, you know, like no fucking laugh.
God bless the man, getting his point across. God bless the man, getting his point across.
I know.
Charlie said,
fuck's sake, Scott.
Yeah, but the thing is, at least they'll know about listening to this anyway, so I've
What'd you say?
That was my bizarre thing about that game. But
Jason, you were in the lobby to tell that story.
No.
You sound far away.
Is it? Aye. I'm just still storming the same bit.
No.
But,
so where are we at now? Fuck me, that's hilarious.
Aye, so no, I mean, there was shining lights at this point. I mean, see
Calvin Miller was outstanding that night as well.
Yeah. But the I don't know. I mean, like, see, by the end of January, you beat Utrecht and all, and you've qualified. I mean, at that point, I didn't really want to qualify. I don't think. No, I mean, I just wanted, because the league was still there to be had. I mean, I think you're right, Jason. I think at this point, people still didn't think Hearts were the team. They thought the Huns were the team.
Aye. Yeah, and they were starting to kind of play all right.
And the big thing that was a killer for us in January wasn't even the defeat. It was the fact that we never got anybody of note. I mean, I thought Chamberlain was a decent signing, but it was offset by the fact he's no kicked his hole in fucking near 6 months.
But he scored some important goals.
Yeah, this is coming up. Don't be fucking don't be giving it away.
Sorry. We did the confirm before the podcast, folks, if you're listening here.
How'd you know that? You stole my fucking notes. Right, so Month of February kicked off with a good 2-0 win over Falkirk. Thomas Shavansara, another loan signing from Borussia Mönchengladbach, who made his debut in the game against Hearts, scored his first goal, and Negan grabbed a second in the second half. Next was the Scottish Cup, and Junior Adamu. By the way, this is mad, right? This is mad when I get through this, right? So, Thomas Shavansara scored in that game against Falkirk, right? Next up, Scottish Cup. Junior Adamo gave us some false hope of his ability when he scored off the bench to save Celtic from defeat at home to Dundee. His equaliser 7 minutes in injury time allowed Tanecki to score the winner in extra time. Celtic left it late again, and new signing again, as one up with Sarachi scoring his first goal for the club, but a penalty equaliser had us looking at dropping more points against Livingston. But a tremendous Oxlade-Chamberlain goal in the 91st minute got us the win. Next up was Kilmarnock, and guess what happened? A loan signing scored a last-minute winner. 2-0 down at half-time. A Tanecki goal and then a Negan equaliser had us relieved, but again looking at more drop points. But Arahu scored an absolute belter in the 97th minute to steal the points and take them up the road. Things dipped from there. Another ball protest occurred during the playoff home tie with VfB Stuttgart, which upset us but seemed to not affect them. A 4-1 home reverse, Negrin pulling us level, but another Casper hit Schmeichel. Horror show had lots of daggers in his direction. He would play one more game for Celtic after that, and sure enough, it was a 2-1 defeat at Celtic Park. Hibs claiming a win after some dubious refereeing, saw Trusty sent off with the score 1-1, and Hibs scored in the 87th minute winner. With no real hope for the return leg, Celtic actually made a good fist of it and beat Stuttgart 1-0. Luke McCowan first minute goal giving us some hope, but despite some half chances, we left Europe 4-2 on aggregate. So the end of February had us still in third place, still sixth place, 6 points off Hearts, 2 off Rangers in second, with Motherwell creeping up behind and 4 points off us. We were out of Europe in the playoff stage again, and we had a daunting double trip to Ibrox in the League Cup on the horizon. So that's what you're saying. But see that rerun of games? Do you know what it reminded me of when I was kind of looking back at it? Do you remember when we signed all the loan players under Brendan Rodgers? And whilst each of them ended up being fucking useless, they all kind of played a part. Do you know what I mean? Like if you remember, we done well in the game. Ollie Buck done well against Hearts. To maintain what we were doing this month.
So what are you, Joe? Are you doing furniture removal or something?
He's doing the ironing while he's doing this.
I'm just sitting here with a chair.
Yes.
You've obviously got some volume issues that you right through the roof that are picking up.
Every time you move,
I'll sort it. Don't worry.
Like, see, clicking, that's the loudest thing in the world.
Is that better?
Aye, seems it.
No, we can still hear you, mate.
But yeah, Scott Spinchara at Tynecastle looked fucking a world beater.
Look, you're going once again. You're pushing it too far.
No, but there was things. There was 3 moments with a few of them. Then that you said this could be all right.
But you think about it, right? So Spinchara against Hearts was important, right? And then he scores a penalty in the next game, and then Junior Adamu comes off the bench and scores an equaliser that keeps us in the cup.
But none of us were there apart from Liam.
What's that?
None of us were there.
No, that's right. Aye, Liam the scab. But I forgot about that one as well.
Can't use that one.
Oh, no, I'll let to use that one. Right, and then the Rab. Like a less hard fucking. And then the next one, Sarachi, who's alone, obviously, he scores his first goal. But then Chamberlain scores a fucking winner. You've just signed him. And then Arahu, who we signed in January, on loan, scores a fucking winner. It's quite mental, isn't it? I mean, like, and we slaughter them all, but...
But see when you look at it as well, like obviously I know it's only a penalty, but the penalty, you know, they're talking about the cup as well. Big Svinchara scores the winner as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
There is more.
that's-
Remember them. That goal at Tynecastle and that penalty. I'll remember the big man fondly, albeit fucking I'm glad he's no fucking.
No, he never scored at Tynecastle. He
No,
scored against.
the run that he made at Tynecastle was
Set up
he set
Yang.
the goal up. Yep, that was brilliant.
Right. So once again, Jason's ruined the surprise. So on the first of March, Celtic travelled to Ibrox, and it was a horror start. 2-0 down after 25 minutes, and staring absolute humiliation. And I remember at half time thinking, fuck, we're lucky this isn't fucking 5-0 so far. But O'Neill's team do what O'Neill's teams do sometimes. They fight. Kieran Tierney, first goal against Rangers, got his back in it. And despite barring the door, it took a 91st minute penalty, which was saved, and then saved again before Hatate eventually fired in for a deserved equaliser. A massive midweek away fixture to Aberdeen saw us drag a 2-1 win. Kieran Tierney with his second in a week, but Negan with another winner midway through the first half are back on it. The Scottish Cup at Ibrox with half a team. Didn't want to win it anyway, but in a horrible game of football, despite Maeda having a goal chopped off, Celtic offered very little, but crucially, neither did Rangers. And Celtic wore the game down to pens and walked away 4-2 winners. 4 great penalties with Chamberlain, Trusty. Remember Trusty walked up to a penalty?
Oh.
Trusty, Hatate, and Svanchara winning it. And Svanchara danced like a fucking superstar in front of him. Another huge game against surprise package Motherwell. Going to go down in the 31st minute. But Yang scored 6 minutes later was huge. Svanchara followed up his Scottish Cup penalty exploits with a tidy pen to take the lead. And then Negrin scored soon after to give us a massive 3 points. We can fucking do this. Then we went to Dundee and Tannadice, and as we were bloody rubbish. On a disgrace of a pitch, we hardly put a pass together and went down 2-0. Nah, are we fucking doing this? So March came and went. We remained in third place. We were still 2 points off the Rangers, but we're now only 5 points behind Hearts. Rangers were a form team, while ourselves and the leaders had 2 losses in the last 6. We were through to the Scottish Cup semi-finals, and of course, we want to win it. It's better than nothing. So we play St Mirren in the middle of the month. So what about March saying? The Huns games were huge, weren't they?
Jesus.
I mean, after the first half of the league game, you're just like, this is over, man.
Aye, 100%.
And, you know, I was in the Railway Tavern watching it, and I stuck a tenner on Celtic at half time at 28-1. Just one of the fucking 5 bets, right? And then it makes it 2 each, and I was like, fuck, I've got a tenner on this. Aye, fucking brilliant, man. Great to see KT. I actually thought KT, as the season went on, came right onto a game and started to find his feet and his fitness as well. And I thought he was a real big, important player for us this season.
Yeah.
And aye, delighted for him getting the goal and then obviously the penalty. How did we get the penalty again? There was some. What was it? How did it happen again? Because obviously all the penalties you're thinking about is fucking Fifth Park, right? That's took care of everything, right? But how did the penalty come again? It was like, was it Maeda had a fucking? Did they try and do like an hour? I can't remember. But did they try and do some bicycle kick or something? How did the penalty happen? Can you remember? Because there was
something about what you said there, like there was a shot taken and somebody got in the way of the shot.
We didn't think it was going to be.
No, the big boy Hono didn't. The big boy Hono did the line, remember?
Did he?
Is that what it was?
Or was that the one? That was the one. No, I'm mixing that up with. Do you remember the one the boys scored in the cup game and we were away celebrating and all that? You were like, the fuck? We all saw you Hono.
But how did the penalty come about?
Aye, it was Sterling handled the ball.
Was it? Aye.
Aye, like we thought it was Butland, and fucking it turns out it was a boy on the line and saved it.
Is that was it Maeda that was going to score?
Aye, Maeda header.
Aye, that's what it was. Aye, right. It was a Maeda head. Right, okay, got it. And I'll tell you another thing, VAR has been amazing for us.
That's that's fucking. It's something I hate VAR for what it is. Right? I hate what VAR does. Hate it, but the fact people want rid of VAR because it's actually worked in our favour in terms of it's fucking squared things up. Do you know what I mean? Because you go back to the goal chopped off. We'll come to it. The goal chopped off against Hibs. The goal chopped off against Hearts. This one. Do you know what I mean? The goal they scored in the cup game, the boy bees horn, and they went away. That had to go to VAR. I mean, everybody in the game that day saw that boy put it in his horn, and fucking and.
I was at the back of the Broomland, and I've seen it get in his horn, right?
Aye.
But you see the way you celebrate, I'm like, maybe it wasn't his horn.
But there's my point. There's my point, Jason. That still went to VAR, even though we all seen it. Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
That went to VAR. Now there's no VAR, and the way he celebrates it, do you think they're re-looking at it? Do you think they're chopping it off? Or no? Or no? So, I mean, and you think VR chopped off rightly a goal for us that day as well, do you know what I mean? And it was like ball hair stuff.
Here's the thing, by the way. Do you know where the VAR, like epicenter is? I always thought they were sitting in the stadium in a room.
No, fucking knew they were away somewhere else.
In a wagon somewhere, I say, no?
No, it's in Baylison.
What?
Well, Joe, imagine fucking there was a van outside the ground and you knew there was a VAR gun in it. Fucking the Huns would destroy it, wouldn't they, man? They'd pick it up.
They're like fucking doing their thing, no?
In my stupid head, I thought they were in some room in the fucking main stand at every stadium. Yeah.
Didn't do that. Have you got an address?
No. I just heard. But one thing, Scott, I might pull you up in here. You've not really mentioned Casper Schmeichel much. Is this coming?
Casper Schmeichel's out the team, mate.
Aye, but the malaise of fucking the space of about 3 months, a lot of it was down to him.
We can aye.
Do you know what I mean? Because I was thinking.
Do you right? Wait, so if we go through the games, right?
Aye.
Are you saying that he's responsible for what? I mean, I agree with Casper Schmeichel. In the cold light of day, it was a disgrace the way he conducted himself. Everybody knew that he was a guy kind of on the downward spiral anyway for a decent first season. But I mean, like through the Nancy spell, I don't think our defeats came down to him. In Europe, he kept showing himself up.
The Rangers get fucking hell. Their third goal or the second goal, fucking Ada saved it. And you go back.
Was that the third goal? Was that the Moore goal that squandered under him?
Aye, fucking hell. There was loads that he fucking just chucked in the net basically, and cross balls. Fucking hell. There was just that. And I think as well, when Matt O'Neill took him out of the team, it just instantly made the defence better because they made confidence. And they had a goalkeeper behind them. And Sinisalo's by no means the best goalie in the world, but God Almighty, he if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have won the league. Because if they'd kept Casper Schmeichel, you could forget it. And then obviously you've no came to it yet because it's still to come. But the way he announced his retirement, didn't he come in the end day with Celtic on like a podcast with his old man? They're like, you're a fucking cunt. You know, just that full bit. And Matt O'Neill's first spell as well, he kept him in. You know,
I mean, like he was that Hibs defeat. That was his last ever tournament. I mean, before that, he'd only missed one game.
Right. And by the way, last season he was good for us. No, without a doubt, he was.
No, I think the thing was, you told us a story about Casper Schmeichel after the League Cup final, right for the off, and I couldn't stick him. But I don't know. I was more. I know you kind of took it that he was a huge part of it, but I don't know. Aye, aye. In the cold light of day, you're right, but at the time, and even now, I kind of Casper Schmeichel still walks away there.
It's I say to you, I mean, the penalties, fucking hell. I mean, you go back to the Kyra Almaty penalty shootout. If he's no win goals, we probably win that. You know, it's like fucking so much fucking things relate to it. And the ironic thing is the penalty shootout at Hampden, he's the one that makes a save, you know, against that Dane in the semi-finals. But he was pathetic, man. It was borderline ridiculous that he was in goals for us for the length of time that he was, after it was clear and evident that he had an injury and he was fucked.
Yeah, I mean, the cup final, and for them to come out and talk openly about how we knew he should have was gubbed. We all aimed for that direction. And then, as you say, he kind of comes into the season. They just what ultimately sticks in the throat is what you said about how he called time on his own career on the telly away from us. And then when the big games were happening, he was away doing the telly, and it was all about him, and it was all about him. Because ultimately he was playing to get himself with the World Cup, wasn't he?
That was it. That was it, definitely.
But our question at the time was, why does Martin O'Neill not just change it?
Because Martin O'Neill's got a fucking blind spot in goalies. We've known that for a long time.
Oh, fucking hell. They wouldn't know if a goalie fell on his head. Ellie's right to make tea, so you're doing the next bit, Scott. So
I'll do the next bit, pal. You can. Right. So, where are we? April. Back to Dundee in a tough wee day, but has been in the case on a few occasions. We managed. Yang's early goal was cancelled out by a Simon Murray penalty, but a composed Iheanacho goal got us the points. Will I say that one again? Oxley Chamberlain again was a hero in our next match, a 1-0 win over St Mirren at Celtic Park. His second goal in the 15th minute is enough in a nervy match. So the top six was complete, and Celtic would travel Easter Road and Fir Park while hosting Falkirk, Rangers and champions-elect on the final day of the season. The Scottish Cup came first, leading 2-0 and looking good against St Mirren. Goals from Maeda and Tony Ralston. Celtic collapsed, and a 91st minute equaliser took the game to extra time. Truth is, if St Mirren had scored earlier and equalised, they would probably have won the game because we look a spent force. But O'Neill's team do well. You've already fucking said that. Celtic ran out 6-2 winners, 2 goals from Iheanacho, a McCowan strike, and a final from Negrin saw us through to the final. We defo want this. Final game of the month, and first of the split was Falkirk. A 3-1 win was harder than it should have been. Maeda double and another Tierney goal, and Celtic got the points. That wee Japanese guy was looking apart. So at the end of this, the penultimate month of the season, we're back in second, kind of, as we now joined Hearts on top of the table. Both teams on 70 points. Rangers 1 point behind. We were 3 goals worse off in Hearts and GD, and a further 5 on Rangers. We had a final day Scottish Cup, however, against Dunfermline and former player, coach and manager Neil Lennon. So it all comes down to these 4 league games. Celtic travelled to Easter Road. A Jamie McGrath red card and a late first half Daisa Maeda goal seemingly sets up as nicely. But a mad VAR decision allows Joe Newell's even later first half goal to stand. We struggled in the second period to break down a stubborn Hibs, but that man, Iheanacho, was a hero once again with the winner in the 72nd minute. Rangers dropping points that day, that weekend, also meant that Celtic could remove them from the title race in the next match. On the 10th of May, Celtic went 1-0 down to a Mikey Moore goal in the 9th minute. But in the sun, Yang scored another great goal and we were back in business. Daisa Maeda scored his first great goal to give us the lead before a goal for the ages, as his overhead kick sealed the points in a great composed display from the whole team. Motherwell away was giving us all heart palpitations. 1 down after 17 minutes. Celtic weren't playing well, but Maeda, as he does, grabbed the equaliser late in the first half. Negrin grabbed the lead early in the second half, but we looked like to have blown it when we conceded in the 85th minute. With all hope lost, the most stonewall of stonewall penalties were rewarded, and even opposition managers could not complain about it. And who stepped up with balls of steel? Collects in a nacho and dispatches away to send the place fucking mad. So on the 16th of May, a packed Celtic Park came down to two teams, Celtic the hosts and Hearts the visitors. A cagey first half is blown open late in the first half. A back post header by Lawrence Shackleton has us worried. A well-worked move gives an equaliser even later, however. As good work down the left is handled in the box and Arnie Engels steps up and equalises. The second half comes and it nearly goes, but sure enough, encouraged by the subs, running and energy of Callum Osmond and Marcelo Saracchi, Celtic grabbed the lead through who else but Daisen Maeda, of course. And with the game in its dying embers, a late push by Hearts saw Celtic counter-attack to an empty goal, and a young Osmond grabs his second goal and his first Celtic title. A week later, with everybody happy and congratulating the worthy champions, Celtic complete a third double on the bounce, beating Dunfermline 3-1 in Hampden on the 23rd of May. Maeda grabbing another, as did Engels, as it did Iheanacho. So, the league table finished with Celtic on top, 38 games played, 26 won, 4 drawn, 8 lost. We scored 73 goals and conceded 41, a GD of 32. We finished with 82 points, 2 ahead of Hearts in second and 10 ahead of Rangers in third, and qualify for the Champions League qualifier playoff round again. We lost 8 times in a league season for the first time since 1992-93 when we finished third. The only time we have lost 8 times or more and still won the league was the 1978-79 season. We used 36 players over the period. Benjamin Negrin was involved in the most games, 58 of the 59 we played. Next was Callum McGregor on 57, Liam Scales on 56, and Maeda and Tierney on 54 and 53. The top goal scorer was, of course, Negrin, again with 21, and then Daisen with 17, Yang was next with 10, and then Iheanacho with 9. Liam Scales got the most yellow cards with 17, and then Callum McGregor with 12. And then Austin Trusty had 7 yellow cards and 2 red cards, where Rio was the only one to get a red card due for 2 yellows in Italy. Kasper Schmeichel played 39 games and kept 14 clean sheets, while Sinisalo played 20 and kept 5. The highest attendance, of course, 59,079, was in the final day versus Hearts. Benjamin Negrin was voted Player of the Year. He was voted Player of the Year, and he was, of course, top goal scorer, whilst Yang won our Young Player of the Year and Goal of the Season for his goal in the 3-1 defeat to Rangers in January. And that is fucking it. Thank you for listening.
Well done, Scott.
Fucking sweat, man.
A mad roller coaster.
Wild, mate.
Honestly, mate, that last 3 section there was just incredible. It's like, for all the moaning that we do, and I mean, I'm not giving the board any credit for anything whatsoever there. It's just all on Martin O'Neill and the players, and how after that Dundee United game he got them over the line. I will never fucking know to my dying days.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever know, and I don't think Martin O'Neill will ever know.
It's one of them seasons in football that makes you realise football's mad. And fucking
here's a wee thing. I don't think I've told he's on the chat, right? I'll let he's in it. Our John had a coffee with him, with Martin O'Neill, right? And he was more interested in John talking about how's your winning mentality and all that, and he was right interested in everything. And John turned around and said to him, he says, "See, walking out of Tannadice, did you think we would win the league?" And he said to John, what the fuck do you think?
I forgot to mention about Martin O'Neill. Like, before he was appointed manager, he was on the radio saying, he thinks Hearts will win the league.
Aye. The week before it. But as they say, there's something magical about this football club. last season just. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all down or up about everything, right? But we've got to have a wee moment in the sun here talking about this. Towards the end of that game, the game at the Hearts game, but towards the end of the season, it was unbelievable the roller coaster of emotions that you were on. It was just, you can't really put it into words. And I know for people outside Scotland it doesn't mean anything, but for us it means everything. It's our life, it's what you grew up with. And just, it was just fucking incredible. Incredible.
It really is. It's like fucking 3 different seasons in one, isn't it? When you break it all down. I mean, that Almaty, however, I mean, Almaty to me is your worst result. I mean, I know you can talk about getting beat out for that Gibraltar mob.
Yeah, but we didn't get beat. It was only the first leg.
No, that's what I'm saying. I know we get beat off them in that game, but getting put out after Almaty is the worst. And the fact that our board oversaw that and nobody ever fucking fell by the wayside. There was I mean, God, I was off for the top of Rodgers. We'll go back to Rodgers. I was off for sitting Rodgers at Ibrox, as I remember. I remember sitting at the stand at the end of the game, we're all locked in, and I'm going, I'd get shot him now. He's done. He's a busted flush with us. As I say, I do remember us chatting and Marty saying, we sacked Rodgers this year and we gave him all the blame. In 3 years' time, we'll be doing it with the next guy. The exact same thing. And I walked away that day and going like that, fuck me, that's fair. That's a great point. And that's
what? Sorry for butting in, but
no. I was just.
No, you're 100% right. And see, to be fair, see in our group chat, Marty was the only one that was backing Rodgers because maybe he had a bit of inside info or whatever. But we were all fucking anti-Rodgers and like fucking, he's got to go. He's got to get to fuck. And Marty's that. But you're right, Scott. The football was shocking at the start of the season. And see, to be fair, there is merit in that, right? See, regardless of your employers or regardless of whatever, you've got a duty of care to the supporters that turn up to watch that football team, right? And I know you're concerned with your professional reputation and you've got a career and whatever, but you're in that moment and you're working with that football club, and regardless of what shite you're working under, there's 60,000 folk turning up there and there's millions all over the world that's fucking depending on you. And I still don't agree it's all right to throw the rattle at the pram, you know, and he did big time, but there's definitely reasons why he did it, and until you're in that situation yourself, you probably can't judge, you know. And fucking the hatred that we've got for the board at Celtic is madness. And can you imagine them being your employers and working under them? Fucking hell, it's bad enough giving them your money every year for something you're hopelessly addicted to and you'll probably never give up, and they know that. But fucking hell, they're just no fit for purpose.
No. But then, so we're sitting talking about that and the Rodgers thing, right? And the Rodgers thing came and went, and then everybody was all cracking up. I think, again, stuff I'm going to say here, we've spoken about a million times, haven't we? But, Joe, you still alive, or have you turned your volume right off?
I'm here.
But you think this was a season where the Scooby-Doo ending, where the kind of mask was pulled off, and we found out that Dick Dastardly was the bad guy behind it all along, and and I don't think it can ever go back to how it was, and I think they want it to, and I think they're thinking, we've seen them kick off before. They always come back into line. Do you know what I mean? They always come, because you think, remember all the fucking shark stuff and all that.
I know, you're right, Scott. I think we've crossed that threshold.
Yeah.
But right, on that point, right, see if we get these so cold. We've got two players, the Scandinavian boy and the German boy. If we get them over the line, and there's the rumours of a goalkeeper as well, rumours of Greg Taylor coming back. See if we get these all over the line, and we lose Hatate, and we lose Engels, and we lose Alistair Johnson. Obviously, you need a right back in to replace them. If they get another right back in, but if they spend, say, I mean, I'm not asked about how much money they spend. I just want them to spend it well, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But if they get the players in, and this season we start playing good football, and it will get back.
Right.
It'll get back for the vast majority. See, for us, right, we know they're no fit for purpose, but it was evident to me, and we're obviously going to discuss the collective, etc. But it was evident to me, see, after last season, there is only a small minority of us that's willing to.
I don't think it's a small minority. It's definitely a minority. I don't think it's a small minority.
Right, sorry. I'll rephrase that. It's a minority of us that's willing to take action and do stuff. There's no, I'd say that the majority of Celtic fans, as long as the team is performing on the park and winning on the park, that's all they care about. And there's a lot to be said about that, because that's basically why you go to watch Celtic. You know, and people are entitled to the. But I think if they get it right, I've got no confidence in getting it right. I think it will go to shit. I think we probably won't get these guys over the line, and fucking, you know. But if they do get it over the line and we get players in as good replacements and they go on, but the bottom line is we'll probably still do nothing in Europe. We'll still be an also ran, and but we'll probably win the league and may still be happy again.
Joe, before I come in and do my diatribe, you comment on that?
There's a lot to digest, I suppose. Like, I mean, you're right, Jason. I don't think anything's going to change. I think what we're being exposed to is basically like, do you like it or not? If you don't like it, walk away. Somebody else take your place. Be fine.
Yep.
And looking back on the Rodgers thing from the very start of the podcast, like, I can understand that he had. Like, you mentioned the emotion thing, Scott. Like, whether he was deeply emotional about Celtic, whether he was or he wasn't, he's deeply emotional about football, and he played good football with Celtic. I mean, you know, at good periods of time. But see, to have like the entire thing sucked away from you by like non-cooperation or complete and utter, you know, abandonment of whatever agreement was there in the first place, it just fucking makes you go, why would I fucking bother? And I can understand that. So we're kind of in the Rodgers space now. I mean, we've invested everything we have, not everything we have, but all of our emotion, our passion, our money into the club, and it feels like you're just being told, thanks for that, we're going to just truck on here and do whatever the fuck we want to do. Now, unless we sign 5 great players between now and the start of the season, which I don't even think is going to probably cover the cracks at all. I think it's just going to be, people are completely, they're detached in some ways from the club. And I think that's very, very sad.
But Joe, sorry, Scott, before you jump in again. See this detached thing. Season tickets sold out like that. They've stopped the waiting list. There's no waiting list now because there's that many on it.
But I have a feeling that people just love to have the access for if it goes good.
But everybody's just fucking totally addicted to it, and everybody's terrified to gain up their season ticket because you won't get it back again.
That's me.
Yeah. I know, but but do you not think that the sort of inherent to that kind of thing is the idea that, like, it might be shit now, but see in 3 seasons' time we get somebody great and it'll be fucking back to the good old days.
But see, the thing is, see when you actually look at it, see the good old days. See, Celtic,
never coming back.
No. Right. Well,
They've never actually been good.
if MD for another football club was listening to this, they'll be saying, "See they bastards, how the fuck?" Right? And I get that. I totally get that. Right? I've got mates that are Hibs fans, pals that are Motherwell fans, etc. But the thing is, we never do nothing in Europe. We never, and that's where we need to aspire to. And under this current board, there is no chance we'll do anything. It's just, I think it's impossible.
It's not even in the plan.
No, I don't. Well, that's that. Do you know what, Joe? You've just actually made one of the best statements that's ever been made in this podcast. That's it. It's not even in the plan.
No.
And that's the criminal part of this. That's fucking beyond the pale. For a team of your size that go on about the global fan base and one of the biggest football clubs in the world, a club unique and all this shit, it isn't even in the plan. You're right.
It's a bonus. It's an entire bonus. That's all it is.
Scott, on you go, mate. The floor's yours.
Right. So again, I've already, I think I've bummed up 2 Celtic podcasts already. I'll go for a third one, right? I was listening to a chat today on the Celtic Underground. Now, I don't agree with lots of what is said on there, and it's maybe the way they can your man conveys it. It's kind of sneery, but they had a fellow in it from Hail History, right? He's a really well-spoken, clever guy, knows his beans, and he's Celtic through and through. I actually meant to forward. I recorded it and I sent it to a group. I meant to send it to your group and I forgot. He basically says he reckons there is a whole section within the Celtic support where the board they're done. He says he used a mad example, right? A total extreme example to prove his point. But I mean, let us know. He basically says Celtic could sign the whole Spain team and you would still have a large section of the support who do not trust them and will not give them any benefit of the doubt. That benefit of the doubt is gone. And I agreed with him. I agreed with him wholeheartedly. The Celtic could go out and spend a load of money this summer. But if they don't change, or they don't seek to change, I mean, let's be honest with it. What could Michael Nicholson do right now that would make you think, yeah, by the way, he deserves to remain, he deserves his place at Celtic? Now, it would take...
Anything productive?
No, Joe, no. What do you mean anything productive? Celtic go out and sign 4 guys tomorrow, and they're all good players. Are you sitting there going, by the way, he's actually all right? Or are you thinking, this guy's fucking still shite?
I don't actually think he does anything.
So shite then, right? Okay.
Scott, I would totally disagree with that, right?
How?
Because me, you, Joe, everybody on this podcast have lost all faith in the board.
Yeah.
Right? But see, the majority...
No, we know the majority. He said a large amount of Celtic fans.
Right, and I agree when he says a large amount of Celtic fans, but his large isn't as large as a lot of people would think, because most people just want to go and watch Celtic win games of football. And we've been shite in Europe for fucking all our lifetime. And it's probably not going to change anytime soon. And most Celtic fans will just see by it. And it'll just keep going on. And if he can get 5 signings in that are really good, which I don't think he will do, but the rank and file will just carry on regardless.
But we can't. The thing is, we can't criticise that carry on regardless thing, because that's what we're doing.
Aye, but
right, for all the kind of we see the Wizard of Oz, we see behind the curtain, we're still doing the exact same thing, right? Because that's what we do. and as Joe put, we're kind of hoping for a sunnier day down the line. Do you know what I mean? When others, and then we can kind of bask in the knowledge that we stuck with it. And I mean, the thing which we should have done this summer, we should have all kind of binned it, but you just know right now there's just a whole.
I'll give you an example. Lazio.
But I don't think we're necessarily disagreeing here, Jason.
No, I agree we're no disagreeing, right? Lazio, see, Lazio, we all hate Lazio, obviously, right? But Lazio have went from 28,000 season ticket holders to 1,700 this year. So they've went to town and they've done it. We won't do that. We can't do that. It's no in our DNA. They've done it. So they've got, I don't know, 1,700 might be a lie, but it's a couple of thousand at most. And they went for 28,000 season ticket holders down to, because they hate the guy that owns their club. And regardless of what we think of Lazio, right? They've actually voted with their feet. And they'll get rid of that guy. You know, that guy will go.
Has he not been there for a million years?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know much about them, mate, but I just actually read about it earlier on before I come on.
No, I've actually no took. I was going to say take an interest in. I've clocked this as well for what you're saying because they've been protesting last year, and but I'm pretty certain the owner's been there for fucking Claudio Lotito. He's been
fat guy with a baldy head.
No, he's not. No, he's the owner and president of Lazio since 2004.
Well, then he was plenty of time, 22 years.
You know what I mean? Decent. And he's a member of the Senate as well. There you go, fuck's sake.
Right. So they've went for 28,000 season tickets down to.
But see, and it's hard because that what they're doing is bang on, right? But we know it's different because we know as much as
how's it? Well, I suppose right. Here's the thing. You're right. It's different because they've got an Olympic stadium that holds.
The Olympic stadium holds 70,000.
Aye, they'll get that back.
And so these season tickets. Well, if you fucking get up your season ticket, you can get it back next year. You know what I mean? And their ultras would have a huge influence on their support, whereas our fucking ultras are hated by our support. I mean,
but it's been they're a long term thing. Their ultras have been.
Yeah, I know that's. But that's what makes it different.
It's a total different culture.
Yeah,
and it's a culture that the ultras are trying to introduce, but loads of fucking old guys. But I'll be honest with you, right? See me myself, right? I would have supported everything the collective done last year, right? And I'll still support the collective, right? But I'll be honest with you, the fight's kind of been out of me.
Yeah.
And I can't be bothered with it. And because I realise it's futile and it'll no achieve anything, because I realise there isn't.
So let's move on to the collective chat, right? But I'll send you what that boy says, and if for anybody listening, it was on the Celtic Underground, and I thought it was a really good point. His closing argument was, says basically there's guys like me and you that we're not going to give them any rope, right? We're not going to. I don't think there'll be a point where I don't want. I want Celtic to succeed. I don't want them to succeed, right? Which obviously doesn't go hand in hand. So I'm not. They're not. It's terrible to say, but you're kind of waiting for them to fuck up again. Do you know what I mean? Which
well, you know it's in the post.
You know it's in the post, and it's a horrible attitude. But we'll come back to what you just said. But his closing point was for this board to honestly get guys like me and you back on side would take a definitive plan, and it would take Celtic acting like a club who gave a fuck about what they were doing. I mean, we spoke of this before. Joe touched on it and says about how Celtic don't think Europe is a priority. And I suppose it's not. I mean, your bread and butter is the league and stuff. But the fact is, I asked the question to what, and I'm doing the two air quotes here, happy clappers. And I've spoken to a good few of them and I've said, if Celtic don't win the league, should the manager be under pressure in terms of being sacked? And he says, yeah. And I said, and that's how I think Celtic work as well. I think the league is a non-negotiable. We should be, with the amount of money we've got in the setup, we should be winning Scottish League more times than not. There'll be the odd one, but generally we should be winning most trophies. As a result of winning the league, so what we're saying is, if you don't win a league, the manager's under pressure to go. But as a result, we get into Europe. And being in Europe seems to be, that's all we care about, just being in it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how far we get. But that's ridiculous. That's mental.
Right.
It's a crazy logic to have.
Joe
basically, the top of our ambition is to win the league. That's it. That's the top of our ambition.
The thing is, you should be winning the league as a gateway to the riches that are in the Champions League. Fucking, I mean, the Kyra Almaty thing, if you get Brendan Rodgers a fucking striker there, we beat them. You've got 40 million in the bank. Fucking spend 10 million on a striker and you're fucking 30 million up. I mean, it doesn't take a fucking mathematical genius to work that out.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
But Joe's made the point there, and it's probably one of the most salient points that's ever been made in this podcast. It's knowing the plan. It just actually isn't it? They actually want to win. Do you think they want to win the league just so that we've got green ribbons in the cup? And then what happens after that just happens. I mean, it's baffling. It's fucking, because the thing is, you win the league in Scotland, you get what, £2 million? I don't know what the prize money is nowadays, but you get next to nothing, right? Celtic bring all their money in from us, the fans, season ticket money, merchandise, and obviously the merchandise is plummeted. So straight away, red flag. Fucking let's change things. But no, they've not changed things. They've got a mute as the CEO. The mute that actually did an interview with Celtic TV and actually had to get the guy who was interviewing him with his things above his head so that he knew exactly what he was going to say. He couldn't ad-lib with anything. Imagine that guy fucking sitting with you trying to get you to convince you to come to our football club. Just as well as signing that Colombian boy, fucking Duran, because he couldn't speak English. The boy must have been like, aye, maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about. Fucking. Imagine you speak English and you go there and sit and have a conversation with that fucking idiot. He might be a good fucking lawyer, but Jesus Christ, CEO of Celtic Football Club, gave me strength. These Desmonds are fucking killing us.
Aye, it's evident now. That's the thing.
Aye. It's a Scottish mentality, Joe.
I didn't mean it like that.
Somebody said on the chat earlier on, fuck, what the fuck, Scottish? They're Irish.
He's co-opted the. You know what? Never mind.
Right, I've got to say, laugh of the day. But yesterday, right? So you've seen all the rumours, like we're talking about Greg Taylor coming back.
Heard that.
And did you see on Twitter somebody posted a picture of him for some wedding recently? But the way he eyed him in this big giant suit. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I did.
Have you seen it?
At the wedding with the suit. I didn't see the giant suit though.
Have you not seen the giant suit? Right,
I'll
see if I can find it. Right, so I'll see if I can find it now.
Would you be all right with him coming back?
Of course. I was a bit gutted when he left.
I loved Greg Taylor. I was his biggest defender.
You were not.
I was.
You've lost a bit of weight now, so you're fucking nowhere anywhere.
You're a fighting machine now, Joe boy.
You're a fucking slimline defender now. Who's the place you are? You're cunt.
Joe's fidgeting like fuck there now, making loads of noise because it's not coming through in the podcast, isn't it? If you sort the sound out. You've been fucking about with the sound in this fucking thing. Because I come on, there was echoes, Scott was on. It's down to you, Joe. You've been
trying to make things right.
You got a job at Celtic.
They're not hard just getting people.
So there was a wee chat between me and Liam before we come on with the Celtic postponing the St Johnstone away game because that's one of the Champions League games following midweek. What do you think of that? Yeah, fan of it or?
I'm not really up or down about it.
It doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm kind of the less games we play with fucking is kind of better for me. I mean, this is more time to get somebody in the door.
See, to be honest, we see anything the Scottish League can do to fucking help the teams fucking in Europe. Because you look at the fucking Hearts and Hibs, fucking hell. Motherwell were good last night. I actually watched their game last night. They're pretty good.
I watched Hearts the other night. Jeez.
I was listening to fucking Radio Clyde and I was walking my dog. And that Alex Ray said his mates, a Hearts fan, said they played well. They were just unlucky. I'm like, what? You watched it? Is there any merit in that?
Can you see that, Jason?
The picture of Greg Taylor in a massive suit.
Is that AI?
It's awesome, isn't it?
That's a belter. Is that AI?
Of course it is.
Look at
it. Fucking massive suit.
Fucking brilliant, man.
Send that on to me. That's hilarious. It's brilliant.
But anything they can do, but
I can't go up or down about it. Like you say, I'm no.
I think if obviously it transpires that all Scottish teams, apart from fucking the usual, do well in Europe, then I'm all for it. That AI, by the way, I listened to a news. I listened to that fucking BBC News podcast or whatever when I'm fucking walking to work or something, and there was a thing about AI the other day, right? And I can't remember the exact story, right? But it was about somebody had asked AI to
the hacking thing.
They were going for an interview for a job.
All right.
It was something to do with maybe not an interview, but it was to answer questions for a certain company. So I assume it was an interview. I was half fucking sleeping when I was listening to it, right? But so the guy put it into it was ChatGPT. He put it into it, and he says, "Can you get me these questions? Get me the answers for these questions." I assume it was an interview. And what AI did was it didn't know the answer to the question, so AI broke into the fucking mainframe of the company to understand all the logic in the company and then come back with all the answers to the question. And they were like, how did that? It was obviously a bit more technical than what I'm making it out to be. But they said to the guy, does that make you happy or scared? He says, both. He says, I didn't ask it to break into the fucking mainframe of that company, but obviously AI wanted to get the answers from me. So obviously the way he'd done the prompt or whatever, it's fucking scary as fuck.
No, aye.
Yep. I, for one, welcome our robot overlords.
Right, so Paul, who's been on a roll today, he's asked this question, right? And I kind of asked it a while back, and I don't really know how it works, right? So we know fucking Dick Dastardly owns 34% of the club.
Yep.
Oh no, and when he, I think it was in 2008, would that have been right? When he got up to 34%, he sought an exemption from needing to buy the rest, but he was getting control of the club, and that was agreed. It was all signed off, and that's how he's got these powers for having.
So is
X
that?
amount.
I thought it was because that Linsall train thing always.
No, nothing to do with him.
No, really?
Nothing to do with him. No.
Right. Okay.
So there was an agreement made by all the shareholders at that point. I don't even know if Linsell Train had shares at that point. I mean, they might have been part of that, and they might have been, but no, it was an agreed thing that he didn't need to. I'll check. I'll dig it out and I'll find the correct wording of it. Right. So, but what I want to know is, say Dermot Desmond does sell his 34% for however much. Does that influence and that power and that exemption then
Go to the person.
go to the next person, or do they need to seek that? And is it possible for the remaining shareholder veto that power?
I'm the fucking legal expert, but I would reckon the guy who buys them would need to seek the same assurances. Because you're only buying shares, you're not buying.
Yeah. You're not buying an agreement,
that's not an agreement that's normal in company policy, I wouldn't believe. You know, he's done something there that everybody else has agreed to at the time. But if you're just buying shares and you're not buying 50% of a company, you don't have the main say. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's ask ChatGPT.
Fucking hell. It'll break it. What's that? I'm going to ask GPT to get me. How did I get 100 million? See, we'll fucking break into a bank for me.
How do we get Dermot Desmond out? ChatGPT, tell us. Fuck me.
By the way, I don't. And Paul's also asking, where's Harper? He
bailed.
He heard you were asking questions, Paul, and he went, fuck that.
To be fair, he didn't bail. He said he might be able to make it. But it was there knowing that he was making it, and then he just bailed. So he bailed.
What did he say, Jason?
Fuck that.
Fuck. And by the way, see for him to listen to us, right? I don't know if they say that. I've listened to them all, right? And I've got no fucking allegiances to Shelbourne or anything at all. But he does a podcast called This Red's Life, and he used to do. We did Celtic bands.
This Boy's Life, yeah.
This Boy's Life, aye. And he does it with Shelbourne fans. And I would.
How did he think up that cool new name?
Have you listened to him, Scott?
I've listened to one of them. It's good, man.
They're fucking brilliant, aye. And I love listening to it. See, proper like football fans.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it doesn't matter what club they support, you know, you just fucking love. And obviously they pick their music and everything. So if MD's listening to us, just pick down This Red's Life.
He'll be fucked off his Spotify soon enough, though.
No, he's not on it. He's not on it.
Is it not on Spotify?
No, because he plays the full songs. So it's not on YouTube, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. So you probably got it on this Downcast. In fact, you do, because that's where I listen to it. Well, one of the downloading platforms that you do. So I've listened to them all. The guy, his latest one was absolutely brilliant. The guy was class. It's great to listen to guys that are just proper into football, you know. And I had no idea that Shelbourne are as big as they are in Dublin. I just thought it was Bows and Rovers and the rest were all wee tiny teams. But Shelbourne seem to be pretty big.
Aye.
Is that right, Joe?
Aye, they're quite big, like. You'd see loads of Shelbourne tops around, like even out here at Balbriggan, like we're fucking like 40 minutes away. Right?
Aye. I had no idea. I just thought it was always Bows and Rovers. Okay.
And you've got some Pats as well.
Aye, obviously.
And Shakur.
St. Pat's big. You don't know, do you?
I don't know. But
that's ChatGPT.
But hang on, Scott. See when you listen to it as well, they all tell you like where they live in Dublin. It says, "Oh, that's Pats territory." Everybody there supports Pats. You know, they've all got their different areas in Dublin.
Aye.
Supports the teams. And it's dead interesting. No, I really love them, man. Just love listening to Just folk talking about football.
When I was on holiday, there was I only saw one guy. By the way, that was at the top of not another penny. That's the least amount of Celtic taps I've ever seen when on holiday. Ever in my life. Maybe it's just
the old ones.
What's that?
Not even folk wearing the old ones.
No, never saw. I saw one guy at the hotel wearing one of the new ones, and I ended up chatting away. He thought I was a Hun, which I was right upset about, because I said something to his boy about his Mexico tap. But we ended up talking to him. He says he's like he used to finger roller, and I don't know if he'll be listening. I'll give him a shout out anyway, because it's interesting you're talking about that. So I ended up talking to him and his family. His family, they were sound, right? Him and his boy called, his name was Derek Green. And we ended up chatting away, and I said, "You're the only one I've seen with a Celtic tap on." And before I could get the words out, he went, "I go to Happy DH Gate." I was like, "Good man." I says, "Good man." And he says, I support the collective. I was like, "Right, you're sound." So chatting away to him. Turns out, so he used to go on the Nave Patrick, but now he goes to Shamrock Rovers, home and away. Him and his boy. And so it's funny because, like, fucking, remember Celtic played that Shells game? Well, it was my last night, and fucking obviously Argentina, Egypt were on.
That's right, that was the same time, man.
3-2, stunning game, right? So I'm in this Irish boozer, 3-2, stunning game of football, brilliant. The whole boozer's all fucking jumping, man. Oh, yo. And the game finishes, and the boy, God bless him, he sticks on the fucking Shelburne friendly for me. I was fucking embarrassed, man. So I'm sitting there, and they're sitting beside me with the game, but they've got the fucking Shamrock Rovers. They were playing in fucking Tallinn or something, and they've got that on an iPad beside me. I was like, fuck's sake, I'd rather watch that. But no, I couldn't believe. And even my mate who was, it was Barry, I think Barry was in Tenerife, he was saying, "I'm really stunned by the lack of Celtic taps you see floating about." Really, I mean, I think it's quite sad, to be honest. And no, the thing is, right, we often say Celtic are an easy support to appease, and I think they're doing themselves a wee bit of long-term damage, because, like, I never ever bought fake Celtic stuff. I always bought direct, so it was in the pocket of Celtic, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And you never know. See, after this, I might never start fucking buying them again. You know what I mean?
No,
fucking
garbage,
man, garbage. And they don't care. They've not even cracked a light. They do everything to kind of prove it's no hurting them. I mean, what kind of company is this?
I would reckon on average per year, and I don't even wear football taps to the football or anything like that, right? But you'd always buy them for wearing about the house. But you reckon on average per year, and this is obviously a lot less now than it used to be when Ellie and we were younger, but Ellie, she didn't buy her like pink t-shirts and shit like that. I'd always buy Rory all the taps. But you're talking about per year you would spend 200-300 quid. You've got two boys that
I was going to say more than that now, aye.
You'd be a lot more than that, but
yeah.
But even the new, I would wait till they go on discount. I don't wear taps to the game or anything like that, so I always wait till they go on discount or whatever. But you'd still pay. But each year you would spend, even the new, I would still be 300 quid per year. You buy presents for folk and that, you buy them the new ones, so 300, maybe 400 quid. And that's gone. I don't pay that anymore. You know,
if a lot of people are doing that, it's quite a concern. Like you say, so see, every time a new jersey come out, I'd always just, I've got a credit card there with nothing on it, and I'd always get the wins. And myself, like you say, I do wear Celtic stuff to the games. I wear them.
Right.
I mean,
you always wear a tacky tap.
Always, know what I mean? And now I'm not getting nothing. Whereas you're talking about, like, Celtic release a training set in a new jersey, I'd buy the full range of kit, the 2 kits, 3 kits, should I say. I'd maybe get the home tap, the away tap, maybe, but I'd definitely get a couple of polo taps or something like that. Mate, you're talking about fucking easy, $1,000 a year
Could be a
for
grand.
me. And I'd say a lot of people are the same. I mean, I laugh. So my fucking, I suppose, brother-in-law at this stage, he kind of runs a bus quite prominent. And his wee boy is fit bad daft. And I was saying to him, he says, is this, you know, wanting a new jersey? And he says to me, the boot of the way, and he's like, it's not much different for the last one. And I was like, that's your dad talking to me, man. That's not you, know what I mean? But it's mental, and there's where the collective thing kind of kills me, because this is a protest that's working in terms of what it's supposed to be doing, but it's not working because they're not conceding anything, and that's soul destroying, man. That's what you said earlier on. You didn't think you think the fights went out you. I think I'm the same. I think that's how I came out the collective as well. You know, I just felt I wasn't awful enough to be sitting there. I mean, I'm not going to sit in something just to tell people I'm on something. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of come off. I've said to them, you ever leave me today and I'll do something for these. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know if the fight suit me, because it just looks. There's nothing coming for them. They don't care. They honest to God, don't care. I mean, people are talking about in the chat. We've all seen this with Martin Neil Walton. I've heard it's a lot of shite, right? With the fucking, they've been out by now, real. But honestly, there's a bit of me that who kind of wants Martin Neil to walk so that somebody's showing a bit of fight. Do you know what I mean?
I'll be honest with you, I'm the opposite, because I don't think anything will happen regardless of what happens.
Do you know? If Martin Neil walked, do you not think there would be a reaction? You think they would just kind of?
There'll be a reaction, but nothing will happen at the end of it. And look, I've just got to the stage now. I attended all the rallies, I attended everything. I didn't go to the meetings because I wasn't part of the collective, but obviously I'm a bit of your lefty Trotskyist type that would be involved in stuff like that. So I will always support the working man and the people in the street, and that's just the way my brain works, right? I would always be like the kind of revolutionary type, but it's got to the stage with Celtic, you're just like, what's the point?
What's the point?
Because
and that's what they want.
That is actually what they want, and it's just, but it's not to do with the board that's caused this to me, right? It's to do with the fans.
Yeah.
Bitterly disappointed.
Yeah.
By the amount of people that get involved. You know, I thought it would have grown, and it just actually got less and less. And then
it's, but see, to be honest, and I don't like saying this, so it sounds like I'm criticising those people on the collective, and I'm not. But I was kind of hoping the collective would diverge into something more rounded, something more definitive for the supporters. I mean, we spoke about when I done my speech outside St Mary's. If you can still go back and listen to it, my speech wasn't even about what was happening that day. It was about how we should all come together, and we should be a unit, and we should be looking after each other. And I think Gemo said it as well. I thought attacking ticket pricing should have been something. Do you know what I mean? I thought defending each supporters, no matter what fucking scarf you're wearing, do you know what I mean? Should have been something. There is a supporters kind of group happening there now. I thought that was something that the collective should have gotten into, but it's no.
But the thing for me is when the affiliation left the collective, you know, stuff like that, and you're just there's just tons of fucking guys that are just feathering their own nest, that are just, at the end of the day, they're not up for a fight.
Well, the thing with the affiliation, the thing, and you could label it at the association as well, is that the leaders are there.
Their leaders are as bad as the Celtic board.
Well,
They've been there for fucking 30 years.
exactly.
They're ingrained into Celtic, and they will lead their members to fucking do what the board want them to do.
Well, that's why I'm kind of proud of the association in terms of the association have listened to this. The leaders might not like what they're hearing, but they've acted on what the members wanted.
Well, and I thought that's what you should do. Your mandate.
Exactly.
You should only be elected from your members. You shouldn't be the guy that's making decisions. You go to your members and then put it to a vote, and whatever the members vote for, that's what you go for. You don't stand up there carte blanche and make decisions.
Yeah.
But the full thing is just fucking, it's just horrible. And it's like that in this day and age, there isn't the revolutionary type in the Celtic support. We've got it with the Ultras, but a lot of the Celtic support don't like the Ultras. So that divides the support again. So say Ultras that are running it. And see, to be honest with you, they're the cunts we should be listening to. They're the fucking future. Fucking give them the fucking microphone and everybody follow them, and then just fucking, you'll get some action, but it's never going to happen.
I'd give Joe the microphone.
Oh, fuck, don't do that.
Get a sing song.
We're nearly 3 hours in here, boys.
We're calling it, Joe. We're calling it.
I'm ready to go for an hour of his, man.
I am fucking shattered.
I think Joe's wrapping up to fuck.
Wrapping up to fuck. But at the end of the day, I mean, see the young team, I would go with what they want because they're the future. And
the young team are getting in.
What are they banned?
No, I mean, like you're saying, the young team. I mean, like, let's be honest. See, I'd like to know what turnover the GB have had, because see, the GB young team are now kind of pushing up. You know what I mean? So, but I'm more talking about where's the young team in Celtic Park?
Well, the young team are now consumers, which is what Celtic want. They want consumers, they want customers, they want people like that.
I don't know, Joe. I mean, see, the young team are getting blamed for everything. Like, the young team are the ones cutting about in all black and kind of fucking, and they're getting lambasted. Ultra, see, there was a show about Ultras on BBC, and it was decent enough. I thought it was.
The wee guy was a pain in the hole, him with the red hair.
Yeah. Blair, whatever his Putin is. But the thing I keep asking, so there was a guy on holiday again. I was in the bar, and these two Irish fellas were at the bar. I ended up chatting away to them, right? And we were talking about Celtic and stuff. And the boys went, "Well, you can't agree with that Green Brigade mob." And I was like,
that's exactly the shite that you
hear. That's no for me, all that stuff. And I was like, and then I says to him, "But we've got to ask the question. See this?" I say to him, "You don't like the ultra stuff?" Nah, hate it. And I says, "But we've got to ask the question: why are people heading towards the ultra stuff?" That's the question. I mean, because the ultra stuff everywhere. Why are people pushing towards that? Find out they aren't doing it to cause bother. They're doing it for a reason. But it seems, and I'm going,
it's youth culture.
Exactly.
It's brilliant. And by the way, didn't you see the video in Motherwell Town Centre last night before the Motherwell game?
No.
There's videos going about, right, all the Motherwell Ultras. It's fucking magic. Right, shows them all, and they're all just standing there, letting flares off and fucking whatever, and they're all just singing, right, and they're videoing it, and it's fucking right up Motherwell Precinct, and there's wee guys that are writing right it while they're videoing it, stoning there. We guys at fucking 8, 9-year-old with sun specs on, just clapping and just looking, saying, this is amazing, man. And you're like to yourself, how fucking good is that? You know, for a team like Motherwell, and you seen the crowd they had last night. It's one of the biggest home crowds I've ever had. You know, and like they sung the full game because of rain, and the atmosphere they're bringing to that stadium, it's fucking incredible. You know, and more power to them. Brilliant.
Motherwell's encouraged them. Motherwell's encouraged. They've tried to engage with a. They've engaged with a fan base. They have constant dialogue with them. They don't wade in. If something goes wrong, they don't wade in and start pointing fingers and start banning people. They try to find out why things happen.
Yep.
Know what I mean? Whereas, we done a season review.
Proactive, moving with the times.
We done a season review. We never even talked about see that Falkirk game, the Falkirk game under Martin O'Neill. I think it was his first game, wasn't it? The 4-0 game. Fucking Dermot Desmond turned up, and the same night a fucking steward was attacked, and all the boys get to jail because he got attacked.
Shocking.
Nobody's been ever fucking. Know what I mean? They all got to jail. Nobody's been fucking prosecuted for that.
No, shocking. Absolute shocking. Celtic are in the fucking dark ages, and by the way, a large proportion of our fans are in the fucking dark ages, I know. And that's what pisses me off. As Marty Flynn always says, he says, fuck Higgins anyway. He hates Celtic supporters. Never a truer word was said. Fucking loads of our fans, I fucking can't stand.
Well, we finish.
What a way to
Wrap
end
it
this.
up, fuck.
Start the new season,
Wrap.
folks. I hope you came.
And do you know what? God
Yo,
bless
what? What, Joe?
God bless the ultras. On you go. More power to you, wee man.
What I meant to say was, hope you came with an
on.
expectation. I hope you said it came with an expectation of information, analysis, and insight, and you've left with something entirely different.
Yeah, there you go.
Joe, before we go,
Fuck that.
Right, hail, folks. Take it easy.
Hail, everybody.
see you later.
Hey,
I'm out of there.